All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the We the Locals podcast. It's been a while. My name is Josie.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Stuart.
And we have Daniel Zapata here with us tonight. Hello, Daniel.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. Episode 50.
Woo!
There you go.
There it is.
Wow,
There's
even
the
a
energy
special
we need.
episode.
I love it.
Look at that.
Look at it's just for you. We've been planning this just for you.
Just
Actually,
specially
no,
for
we
me.
haven't. We've been planning this episode for a while. So if you could take a moment to please like, share, and subscribe this episode and our channels, we'd really appreciate it. If you want to take a moment and maybe hit send on that link to people in your district, in your community, in your precinct, in your family, your friends, your enemies, anyone you think that might get a kick out of what we're going to talk about tonight and learn about all things local. We have a lot. I mean, it's been a busy summer. Definitely, like we tried to keep up on socials, but it was just a nutso summer for everyone, both politically and personally. I think for everyone. And yeah, so we thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we're excited to get into it. So should we do like a couple quick life updates?
Sure.
For things, and then we'll get into conversations with Daniel and different stuff.
Actually, we'll start with you, Josie, and then
What?
we'll go with me because mine will actually lead right into the political conversation.
Perfect. Yeah, nothing crazy has happened other than just being really busy. So I haven't had any big changes. I mean, I think I talked about before we took our break that we were going to be homeschooling this year. So it's definitely been weird to watch everyone discuss back to school shopping and back to school plans and seeing all the teachers that everyone's getting this year. And I'm just like, everyone keeps asking when we're starting school. And I'm like, I don't know. We'll start eventually. I mean, right now we're all just really enjoying our summer break still. And I was like, I get to be in charge.
Why stop the fun now?
Why stop the fun? I get to be in
I'd wait
charge.
till September.
That's kind of what we're doing. We're going to start I mean, we've been doing stuff all summer. The kids have been doing like summer work, and they do reading every day and stuff like that. So it's not like they're starting from scratch. And we'll just kind of start introducing subjects as we go and see where it takes us. I'm like, yeah, this is the whole point, is I don't have to do any of these things. It's wonderful. But yeah, did a little traveling, got to see Boston this summer, which was really cool. Boston. Yeah. I did the Freedom Trail and like ran through all the different spots as fast as I could in the window of time I had there. It was very cool. It was
That
very
is
cool
cool.
to be there.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I did that, and yeah, it's just.
That's it?
I mean, there's a lot of things that
Okay.
happen, but nothing like crazy. You know, we're all just living, doing
Yeah.
stuff.
I
so.
feel-
Milton.
Right? I feel
Milton
like,
away.
I feel like it's been the craziest, we've only been off air like 6 weeks,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm saying. It's not been that long, right? It was
Yeah,
June.
It
Didn't
was
we
three
do?
episodes.
It was-
We took an episode. We
It
took a
feels
hiatus.
like it was forever.
Yes.
Right. But yet, so quick.
Well,
Like,
it's
I'm
funny
like,
because every week that we would have had an episode was a week I was traveling. And I
oh.
don't travel that often, but it just so happened I was like, oh, it's a really good thing we did this.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and schedule everything around that.
I mean, it was not on purpose. It really just, I was like, oh, this would have been a podcast week. Oh, I'm going to be out of town. Oh, that worked out. And then the next time I was like, oh, this would be, oh, and I'm like, interesting how all that worked out.
I felt like I was missing something because
Yeah.
I was just like, because it's like we've been doing this now, for 50 episodes.
Yeah, 2
so-
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 2 years. So it's like, I'm like, what? I feel like I'm forgetting
Yeah,
something.
me too. I kept looking at my calendar going, something's missing. And then when I did my calendar for August, because I do like a whiteboard calendar and I erase it every month. So I did and I'm looking at it and I was like, podcast, we're back. I got to put it back on my calendar. My husband forgot about the kid. Everyone forgot. I'm like, guys, I got podcast.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I know. I asked my daughter last night. I'm like, you got to feed the dog at 7:00 tomorrow, and she's like, I've got an eyelash appointment. I said, well, you're canceling it because my dog needs to eat at 7.
You don't get to do what you got to do.
That's
The
right.
dog
Dog
has to eat.
is
Yeah,
the
that's
priority.
I mean, have you seen my dog? Because I
Aw.
mean, come on, really?
Uh-huh.
He's-
You should post a
he's
picture of on our
He
Instagram
just
pages.
turned a year old.
He should be wearing a We the Local shirt.
Right?
You should
Babe.
totally
He could
do
be
that.
our new mascot,
I-
Oliver.
Where is our mascot?
Oh, I forgot him. He's probably packed somewhere.
Packed. Oh, why is he packed,
Yeah, he's in one
Jessica?
of the totes.
Because I moved from Boca Raton to Boynton Beach.
Boo!
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
hey, now we're in the Central. Let's give some credit to the central part of the county.
That's right. It needs some attention.
I guess.
10 minutes away from work for me.
Oh, I'm sure that's nice. I love
It's
that.
40 minutes for work for me, but I only work once a week, so it's okay.
You only
There you
work
go.
once a week?
Yeah, I only go into the office into Pompano.
Oh,
once
but
a
you
week.
work at home other
Yeah.
times. I was going to say, you only work once a
No,
week.
listen,
No, I
whatever
only
that
ha-
gig is,
I
can
only
you
have
pass it
to
over?
drive.
Yeah, right? Can I get a piece of this
Yeah.
action?
Yeah. So, so we decided to move from Boca Raton to the city of Delray Beach.
Delray or
No,
Boynton?
Or
Delray.
Boynton Beach, sorry.
They're all-
I was
they all bleed
watching
together.
Drink your coffee.
Right? I was actually watching the Delray Beach City Commission meeting yesterday, so that's why Delray's a little bit on my mind. But so Boynton Beach, very interesting. I definitely want to get involved with our state legislatures and stuff this next session because I am out for blood when it comes to property management companies.
Ooh, tell us.
So-
Out for blood. I don't think
that's a
you
little
say that often,
extreme.
Jessica.
So, and this is why it is so important for Republicans to get involved in their local HOAs and find out what's going on in their boards. Because we found this great property, gorgeous, hit all of our bells and whistles, all of our little check marks of what we wanted for our next rental house, and found this great place. Ended up being an HOA community. My first thought was, I don't want an HOA, but then I was like, you know what? Let's.
Maybe it'll be okay.
I really
It might not be that bad.
gated and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was like it's not gated. There's, okay. I checked the precinct numbers. It's like a D+22 or something.
Yup.
Oh, man.
So,
Boynton.
so I was like, well, I could infiltrate this precinct, and I could really start to make some momentum in our blue wall, right?
Yeah, that's what
So
we're talking
I
about.
was like, this is a
Listen,
challenge.
we got Tom. We
right?
gotta get another one.
Exactly. So I was like, maybe we could figure this out. So I went through the HOA paperwork, all of that, paid the fees that it said that I was supposed to. And then in their own language, it said that a parent-child relationship, there was not an additional fee.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter is 22 years old. She still lives at home because, of course, she can't afford to live by herself, and she gets her lashes done. So,
Can't feed the dog because of the lashes.
so I was like, okay. So paid the fee. It was like $430 because they wanted the fee, for the family, and then background and credit check. So we submit all of our paperwork. We get a thing saying, you need to pay an additional $220 for your daughter. And I'm like, she's just a child living with her parents. And she's over 18. She's an adult living with her parents.
And
is-
it said specifically,
it said parent-child relationship. And I was like, but it says in your own language that I shouldn't have to pay this fee. I said, I'm all for, like, if it was clear.
Yeah.
And it said that, and then I proceeded to agree to pay the fee. I'm like, but you're telling me after the fact, after I've already paid $430, that you want an additional $220. And they're like, yeah.
those
And-
are also very random amounts.
Right.
I'm just going to
Literally.
say,
Like,
like
what is-
420
Well,
to 400.
Exactly. So I was like, no, I'm not paying this. So then I was like, your language states, and I want you to stand by it. And they were like, well, I'll try to call, and it should say dependent child.
Well, it didn't.
And that's what I said. I said, but it doesn't say that, does it?
What'd they say?
And
They have no idea who they're dealing with.
Right.
That's the living constitution argument that people use. It should say this, so we're gonna go ahead and use it that way.
Yeah.
Right. It only means what I say it means, right?
Mhm, exactly.
So I'm like, okay. So I said, no, I don't want to pay. I said, I want to withdraw my application and I want my $430 refunded. They refused.
They refused to give you
to-
to withdraw you?
Yep. They said, oh, you can cancel it, but we're keeping your money. There's no refunds.
What did you do?
Well, there's some HOAs that now, I heard one recently, the guy realized he can make more money by processing applications than actually renting the apartment. So he takes application after application, never approves anybody, and is getting all this money without
Right?
even renting out the unit.
Oh, my God.
So
Crap.
this building is half empty, and he's processing application after application.
And he
That's
never has to pay for
shady.
maintenance or upkeep
Yep.
or anything like that because there's no
You don't have any
renters.
dirty tenants, any
No
te-
paint jobs,
little
nothing.
kids that might draw on the wall. None of it. Yep.
Wow. So we need to get our legislation involved because I was
Peggy?
like, first thing I said, you're very lucky that I'm not owning here because I would be running for HOA president. And the
Right
first
now.
thing I would be doing is firing you as a management company. I said, so you just wait until I get involved. So I have some numbers and things that we can do now that we've moved into the property. So basically, I was like, you're basically holding me over the barrel. So I have to give you another $220 or I'm out $430. So I'm like, I might as well pay the $220 so that I can just, and then they told us our application was not complete after I turned it in 30 days. And then they wanted to restart the 30-day clock. Well, thankfully, that didn't happen. We got approved in a week. But still, I was livid. I was like, we need to talk about this. And I remember it was Meg Weinberger when she bought a property up in Tallahassee. She had an issue. She put a Trump flag out in her property. And she got a message from the HOA saying, we don't want any problems here, so you need to remove your sign. And she was livid. So, so this is
I can only imagine
definitely-
Meg. trying to
Right?
do that.
Right? So I was like, so this
was
is
riding
the
on
thing.
a
MAGA
horse.
Meg.
This is the thing. And this is how, liberal Democrats get away with everything that they do because they do not have Republican challengers that say, yeah, we're not doing this and we're going to allow, political conversations to make sure that we have an unbiased society and that the right people are representing us. And so I'm out for blood. We're going to get this done and we're going to make sure that at least, if nothing else, they have to refund the money if you choose to withdraw your application. They have to be able, there has to be a law that you're entitled to a
Within
refund.
a certain amount of
Yeah, I
time.
think
Jessica for president.
I'm like you,
HOA president, let's
you-
go.
Come on.
I have to own first, but I do not understand how that there is not some type
So it's
of
the management companies, not the HOAs.
correct.
But the HOA is always
Right,
are
I
never
know,
gonna-
but so were the rules written by the HOA that the management company was enforcing,
No.
or were the rules written by the management company?
Yeah, and this is the thing too, is that I used to work for an accounting firm that also did property management. So I was well aware of kind of like how this whole thing works. And HOAs put the management companies in charge to do all of
Yeah.
that, so they don't have to. So all they have to do is they go based on usually the recommendations of the management company. The management company says, oh yeah, they're good, or, gives their recommendation, and then the HOA then, signs off on it or whatever. But there's nothing, like I said, even if you buy a car, I think you have 3 days to be able
11
to,
laws.
to change your mind. I think I had 7 days with my Carvana cars, where I could just get
from
my
the-
money back
from the vending machine.
Yeah. For,
I always
for
wanted
any
it. It
reason.
just looks so fun.
I want to put the giant corn.
Delivered right to my house, and I could have turned it away for any possible reason I wanted to for 7 days, but I could not get my application fee refunded
These
because
HOAs.
I didn't want to pay $650 to rent for a year. And then I don't know if I have to go through the whole process again in a year.
You
if I want to
shouldn't.
rerun.
You shouldn't.
I don't know what their policy is, so that's something else that I've got to find
that
out.
should be fun.
That would be a fun one.
So, needless to say, this is very important, and we
Jessica's
need to
going for it.
we need to work on legislation to be able to make sure that our residents in our county and our state are protected from this type of behavior.
So what district are you now in for state legislature?
State House is 90.
Okay, which is a perfect segue
Yes.
to, if anyone didn't know, State House 90. So God rest his soul, Joe Costello passed away. He was the representative that was elected there last year in November of 2024. He passed away just a few weeks ago. And therefore, it opened up that seat to a special election because there's more than a year left on the term. And so now there's a special election for District 90 called for September?
December 9th.
December.
That's the general.
That's a general.
The general.
Primary is September
30th.
Wait a second. The primary is September 30th, but the general's in December. That's like 3 or 4 months.
Oh, yeah. This is a
Yep.
How
special
come we
election.
can't get that for regular elections? It's a 6-week turnaround.
Because it's a
Oh, yeah.
special election.
That's a special. Listen, be grateful that we have some states have their primaries in January and then the election's November.
I know. Well, I guess actually, hold on, let me think. So if
I'd
they,
rather like
if
I'd
it, if
prefer
the
that,
election
actually.
is early December, that means the vote by mail ballots go out 6 weeks before, so they'll start going out mid-November. So it's
Late
about the same
October,
amount of
yeah.
turnaround time.
Probably
actually.
late October, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same amount of turnaround time. All right,
Yeah.
never mind. I retract that.
That might be like legislatively. Like
I
you
think
have
it
to
might
have
be.
this
Yeah,
nowadays.
that's
Yeah.
something I would love to see changed. But that's
So for
a
State
different-
House 90,
yeah.
we have 4 candidates that have qualified. We have Rob Long, who is a Democrat that has qualified.
who currently sits on the
Delray Beach
Yes.
City Commission. And then we have Bill Reicherter, who is a Republican that ran State House 90 this last session and was defeated by Joe Casello. We have Karen Ye, which is a NPA, and I do not know who she is.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that
All I
name.
know
pop
is
up.
apparently she sued everyone and their mother in this county from what I
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that could be interesting. Spicy, exactly.
Okay.
Over what? What kind of lawsuit?
I think they're frivolous. They're not. I don't think it's anything serious.
Interesting. Okay.
And then we have a no-name Republican, Maria Zack, that has jumped into the race. So as you can tell by those 4, Republicans don't know how to get out of their own way.
no, and neither of the Republicans live in the district,
Yes.
actually. So, which is not required. You don't have to live in the district to run for the district, but you have to move after you get elected. But
That's a pretty quick turnaround time to move into a district.
it is a
Yeah.
quick
Normally when you
turnaround
know-
time, and not to mention, how are you really supposed to represent the people? It's a representative government. You're supposed to represent the people of the district that you are a part of.
But at least Bill has some name recognition, and he was,
Yes.
and he did a lot of work within the community.
Yeah, no, he did. He did a good job
Yeah.
of trying to find out what the issues were and really try to figure out ways to address them and things like that. But I do think it is going to be a challenge for anyone who is looking for. If it were me and I'm looking at the ballot and I'm looking at the people running, I'm going to be more inclined to disregard anyone who doesn't live in my district. It's just how
You still
I
gotta
personally would vote.
take into account. Bill ran in District 90, which was a D plus 12
It's
at
like
the
a
time.
12, yeah.
Back before the election, District 89 was a D plus 16.
Yes.
49% of the vote in 89.
So let's talk about that for a
and
hot second.
42% of the vote in District 90.
Yes. So
Just
Daniel
saying.
Zapata,
Who are you?
and what do you do?
Why are you here?
I was outside and I was asked to come. That's about.
Which, we're not going to say where our studio is located specifically, but for those who have been
I know
here,
where you're going.
it would be a little, like scary because it's kind of a quiet area. It's a business complex and we're here after business hours. It's an interesting area to come into. And pretty much across the board, every single one of our guests has pulled in and goes, am I in the right place? See how we just pulled in Daniel.
Exactly what I said the moment I got out of
Yeah.
the car.
Yep.
But yeah.
So who are you?
So I ran for State House in District 89 in the
Which-
last cycle.
Abuts to District 90.
Yes, it is just north of District 90.
Okay.
It is literally probably about the central part of the county. It covered Palm Springs and Green Acres and Lake Clark Shores, that area. So I ran for office. I'm a teacher.
Mhm.
Been in education. This is going to be my 6th or 7th year. Can't remember off the top of my head right
What
now.
kind of what education, what grade, what type?
Right this year I will be teaching high school. I'm teaching high school Spanish and 1 U.S. government.
Oh,
Yeah, so
that's
I'm
going
gonna
to be
have-
fun.
Oh,
Do
yeah,
you
I've
teach
been
in public
having-
schools?
I do not. I teach in a private school.
Private school.
Atlantic Christian Academy.
Oh, I've heard of that school.
Yes,
I've
ma'am.
heard good things about that school. Yeah.
So that should be fun for me. I'm having a fun time putting together the lessons and all that. So it'll be.
When does school start? Monday?
Spanish.
So we have a back to school day on Monday, but we actually start on our high school starts next Thursday.
Oh, okay.
So we got a couple more days.
Yeah.
A couple more days of prep. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, right. So, all right. So tell us
High
about
schoolers are tough.
high schoolers are tough.
Listen, they're fun.
But I
They
think
can be.
They're
Yeah.
fun. They're a great training ground for politicians.
You.
You wanna
Oh,
you
yeah,
wanna
that's a
learn
good
how to
point.
sit there and hold your point. You go stand in front of a bunch of high schoolers right after lunch or right before lunch. That's even better.
I love it.
Yeah, good point.
Right.
So was this run that you did in '89? Was it your first time running?
It was my second time.
Okay.
I
Where did you
ran
run?
Both times I ran in '89.
'89. Okay.
Back to back.
And what made you decide to run?
So the first time I ran, and really the second time I ran, we're a Democrat seat with obviously a Republican supermajority in Tallahassee.
Mm-hmm.
We get absolutely nothing in District 89. even the surrounding members didn't really care that much to even help us in District 89, because at least in District 90 you got Peggy just south who's bringing back a ton of money for District 90. But we weren't.
And
we
you
weren't
have
getting
Caruso
anything.
to the north.
Yeah, so we had Caruso helping us out a lot, but Caruso's been doing his thing for his district, and even after the redistricting and all that. But we weren't getting anything. For example, in the town I live in, Lake Clark Shores, we have a bridge that needed to be redone for probably over a decade by the point. They put it through our old state rep, or past state rep David Silvers, who I'm sure we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk about that one later.
Oh yeah. They tried to put it through with him for 3 years, and it would not pass. Finally, they had to go to Rick Roth, and it took another 2 years to get that done. Consecutively, now they're running against each other, which is hysterical.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that one. That's going to be
yeah.
a fun one.
But it took another 2 years. By the time the money got approved, the quote for the bridge had doubled. And then they had to start using the money before they lost it. So start the project without having all the money for the project and hope to God that the legislature sends the rest of the money in the next session. Gosh. And that's the kind of stuff that my district looks at, right? And
that's just south of Forest Hill, correct? That bridge right there?
Yep, right on Forest Hill. Right when you get off of Forest Hill.
I go past it all the time. It's like, that's been going on for a good...
Finally, they started it where they're saying it should be done this month, so hopefully it is. Yep, so they started it. It's probably just over a year now by this point.
Say it's...
Jesus.
And it's the main artery going into the town.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so that's the kind of stuff that you look at Green Acres, you look at Palm Springs, you look at Atlantis. None of them can get money. Finally, now Green Acres is doing a lot better because they have a great representative with Ann Gerwig, and who went up and the other day presented them with $1 million for a project.
Wow.
So they're now realizing what it is to have a freshman Republican represent you at the state level, and that's what we needed. We needed someone to go up there and actually get the money, and that's why I ran, because I was born and raised in the district. Both times I ran against people that did not live in the district. David Silvers obviously didn't live in the district because he's not even running for a district that overlaps. And the current representative moved into the district about a month and a half before the election. So they use it as the stepping stone rather than trying to get things done for the people.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that I saw that, it bothered me. And of course, being brought up in a Cuban household, politics was always a very front of mind situation.
Yeah, spicy.
Oh yeah, so it was always something I loved and I watched and I've paid attention to, and I said, you know what, it was time. And it was actually when right after Joe Biden took office, I said, this is probably going to be a good year for Republicans, and in Florida, it sure was.
Yeah.
You're very politically astute there.
That's a good observation.
And it sure was in Florida, because the first time I ran was when Governor DeSantis was on the ballot in 22.
Oh, yeah, and you won by 20 points.
Won by 20 points, won Palm Beach County. And so and the first time I ran, it was a D plus 22.
Wow.
And I got 48% of the vote against the 6-year incumbent.
And then the second time?
The second time, by the time the election actually rolled around, I think it was a D plus 16, and I lost by 1,000 votes. 49% of the vote.
It was stolen, just saying.
Yeah, well, whatever you say.
You said it, not him.
I don't know. I haven't looked at any of that.
When you're that close, and then you see kind of how the ballot shifted, because we definitely know that there was some shenanigans going in like the state attorney's race, and it also affected a few of the countywide races. Not enough for them to lose. I want to be very clear. There was not enough fraud for any of the county races to have flipped. Yeah, for sure. But
that was a close race,
except for in the state attorney. Yeah. Except for the state attorney. The state attorney was the only one that there was enough that there was shenanigans enough that if it hadn't happened, it would have flipped. The rest of them were too far.
Correct.
I mean, I looked at it. It was brought. I got emails and calls, and the next day, you should fight it. You should. If you look at it, and I love Mike, but me and Michael Barnett were running in the same area. If you look at the numbers, why were they just cheating in my race?
Yeah,
right.
And so the math didn't add up to me. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Well, and
Deborah won, and she's up in Tallahassee.
How's she doing? She brought any money back?
She just barely passed the Holocaust Remembrance Day. I think is
Did
the
we
only
already
thing
have
she
that?
passed.
Okay.
It was a national thing, but now it's a state thing. She passed it, which is a good thing. But
She didn't bring any money or anything.
No.
There's not a lot she can do. She's a Democrat. They don't get. They don't
Yeah.
have a seat at the table.
Well, and
I'm
that
trying
was
to
the
be
thing.
nice.
I
here,
know.
Josie.
I'm
You
not
know,
saying you
and-
just say anything negative. Just asking direct questions for direct answers.
It's very interesting because if you look at Delray Beach, because this state house special election involves Boynton and Delray.
Briny breezes, tiny breezes,
Tiny breeze.
tiny breezes.
And the Village of Golf.
Village of
no?
Golf.
Yeah.
Delray, Boynton,
That's
Ocean Ridge.
Ocean Ridge.
Ocean. Yeah, out on the ocean.
So, which, those are some really Republican areas.
Ocean Ridge is very Republican. Yeah.
The
And
coast in general.
and the biggest thing is, like, when you looked at Casello's record, he didn't bring back any money for the district either.
Mm-mm.
And so when you hear, like I heard in the Delray Beach City Commission meeting that I think just aired like a week or so ago when they set their millage rate for the trim notices, is that they were complaining about loss of services or raising millage in order to fund the city. And it was very interesting. So they actually voted to raise the millage for the trim notices from like 5.1 something. I walked off and left my notebook with the numbers at home, so I do apologize that I'm not being exact. And raised it from like 5.9 something to 6.1. And so,
But for Delray, that 0.2% is a good amount of money.
right.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing of it is that Rob Long, who's running for State House now, he said, I'm okay with paying an extra $25 for, to make sure that we don't lose a level of service. And the mayor, Tom Carney, was very smart because what he did is he waited for the motion for the higher millage rate, and then he did a substitute motion for a lower rate and let it get defeated. So then,
He's a good politician.
yes, so it became very clear that your city commission wants to raise your taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And why? He was like, you want to continue to fund, the St. Patrick's Parade and what's the thing that they do on the Ave every year? There's a big
The bed races.
What's that?
Isn't there a Christmas thing down there?
Yeah,
too?
there's the Christmas thing, and then they have a big social on the Ave, or it's called something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he's like, why is 1% of the county population paying for these city events? Why is the city footing the bill for the county to enjoy our city when it's like you have the extra costs?
Yeah, because I've been to that St. Patrick's Day parade, and it's not just Delray Beach residents that
No.
go there. It's
Oh,
from
it's
all
huge.
over.
Yeah.
Because it's
a huge one.
the only St. Patrick's Day party that there is consistently.
Correct.
Like nowhere else has parties or
Hey, the
parades or.
Private sector can't fund that kind of thing?
That's the thing. Is it was like, why aren't
What
we
restaurant
getting?
wouldn't want to have their name on
Why
that?
aren't we
Right.
getting sponsorships and stuff to pay for these type events? Why is it going to the taxpayers, and then we have to raise taxes in order to pay for them? So it was a very interesting contrast. And then you had the NPA, which was Markert, basically saying that we don't have reserves, we don't have the funds that are coming down the pike, because he's like, I work in Washington D.C. quite often. I have to go there and I hear what's happening, and I am afraid for Delray Beach if something was to happen. We do not have the funding, and our previous city commissions should have known that we needed to prepare for these things. So he's like, he brought up the cemetery. The cemetery is full as of next year. He's like, why weren't previous
That's what
commissions-
Delray. That's what Boynton is having to deal with. 'Cause
Correct.
It's a full cemetery, and nobody plans for any of these things. Nobody's there. Nobody's asking the. And then what question?
Right. And so then it's like you have an NPA that's talking about the fiscal responsibility aspects, is that and he also mentioned like a golf course that was like 20 years past its prime of being redone, and money being put into it to keep it luscious and a workable golf course. And so he's like, these are things that should have been planned forward and nobody was paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is kind of the fight that and Boynton had this same issue a few years ago when they couldn't fund anything, but they decided to do some responsible development. So what's going to happen is Delray, you're going to have a lot of developers coming in, and the city council commission is going to be very, salivating to get that money.
Like Boca.
Right. So it's like, as you can see, it trickles everywhere because our representatives that we put in our municipalities are not fiscally responsible. They are not good stewards.
They're not thinking down the line. They're thinking, well, it's what I say all the time. There's two types of politicians. There's politicians who govern for like what you ran for was just, I want to make a difference in my community. I want to bring money back. I want to govern to represent my people. And then there's the politicians who govern for their next race. From that
exactly, and that's
position.
what I was going to say. No one wants to be the one that raised the millage rate,
right?
Yeah,
and
why
got
do they
back into the corner, and they had to now deal with the mistakes of the past. But nobody wants to be the one to cut services or raise the millage rate.
And that's why Brian didn't get elected, basically, I think, in Boca, because he said we're going to have to cut services or raise the millage rate, and nobody liked it. And now Boca wants to just give off 30 acres of property, of city-owned property, to developers to develop it and get rid of our green spaces and so many other things. And it's causing a rebellion in the city, which nobody's happy about, but the people we want to put. So in case you don't know, it's Save Boca, which is, if you drive through Boca, there's green Save Boca signs everywhere. I mean, like my street is
SaveBoca.org.
I think it's SaveBoca.org. You can go read about it, but they want to put a referendum on the ballot to change our charter, that anytime the city council wants to develop city property or do a long-term lease with the developer, it has to go on the ballot for the residents to approve the use of the property.
And this is just going to get worse across the county.
It's because we can't trust our representatives to take care of the property for us and not just give it all away to developers who are salivating over it to try to make money.
Well, and if you look at, talk about the governor's race, what they're talking about is bringing huge industry into Palm Beach County. And then you look at West Palm opening Vanderbilt, they're going to feed into these industries. Mm-hmm. Where do we put these people?
They're building giant highways. There's another project they want to do in Boca. They want to put 2 towers downtown, 11 stories each. For the record, you're not allowed to build higher than 9, but they're going to get a what's it called? Variance to try to build higher. And people are like, no. No. And they're not affordable housing. They wanted to build one. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I talked about this before we went on break, was the one near my house where they want to build 48 townhomes on a piece of property that's like this big, that's not platted or not designated for multifamily use at all. It's slated for single family or religious, which is what it is now. It's a church or school. And I was in the community meeting, and they were like, oh, this is going to bring, the developer's trying to sell it to us, and it's going to bring, we need housing in Boca, we need this. Boca is a place where teachers live, and or and like historically, like this area, because we're not by the beach, so it's where, we're the hospital, we're very close to the hospital area, it's where the nurses, blah, 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 blah. So somebody finally nails the developer down, the lawyer or the attorney for the developer, like, okay, how much are these pieces, how much are these townhomes going to be? $1.8 million. My 10-year-old was like, ha! She goes, ha! She looks at me, she goes, no one's going to buy that.
Yeah, but then you have these developers that are going into workforce housing and affordable housing. Yeah. But then they buy out an option to where they don't have to build the workforce.
Exactly. And so then they sell it to the council members who are like, oh, we need housing. And they say, oh, we're going to provide workforce housing or affordable housing, or we're going to do this. And they try to sell it to the residents. We're not stupid.
Oh, yeah.
We're not stupid. So stop doing that. Don't pee on me and tell me it's raining, to quote our great governor.
Yeah, and they're doing it. They do it to the county all the time. They go before the county constantly. We need to revise our agreement because we've played into this. But Why? And why are we
So-
giving them the approval to build it without the workforce housing?
Right. Right, exactly. And it makes absolutely no sense why we continue to allow this to happening. And it happens really at the zoning
Mhm.
and
It
the
starts with the
planning.
zoning.
And not enough people pay attention to what happens. And
It's hard. It's hard to understand it.
I
It's
get
hard
it.
to
It's a lot of
understand.
jargon
You're like,
and
I didn't know
lingo.
I didn't know what platting was. I didn't know
Oh,
it was
yeah.
R1, R2, R. Now I know, but
I didn't know what a county commission was or a county charter.
that's true. I didn't know those things either at one point.
Well, and a lot of people don't. And
No.
that's
That's
the
why
problem.
we're here. If you have a question, let
Exactly.
us know. We will do our best to explain.
And that's okay if you don't want to pay attention, but then vet your candidates and make sure they are paying attention.
Make sure they know what
and
R1
they
means.
know what is going on and what they're going to do about it. Asking them the tough questions is really important when you go to vetting your candidates. And when we have like a special election like we have in State House 90, it's like regardless of how the Republican primary turns out on September 30th, is that when it comes to December, it's going to be a three-way race
If
Yeah.
they all stay in, yeah.
if they all stay in. So it's like you have to, you need to find out what is the best interest for, what the person is going to be representing you. Now, Rob Long was all for raising the millage rate. It was fine for him. So how is he going to represent that district in Tallahassee?
Oh, it's a stepping stone.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
It's not about
Which he's going to have to resign his seat in order
Correct.
to run for that seat.
Correct.
He has to resign
Yeah,
his
about-
commission seat.
2 months early.
Oh, yeah. His is up for re-election, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
March.
Okay. So it's not as bad. But still,
No,
really
but-
bugs me when people resign their seats to run for other things.
Yeah.
Like
And I mean,
Andy Thompson.
He looked right into the camera. with that one.
He doesn't listen to this, but if he ever did,
No, he does, because that's how he got all the stuff.
I think he's just got
quoted us-
people. I think
right.
Cornerstone's listening to us. Hi,
Okay.
Cornerstone.
Hey.
You can pass it on to Andy that I don't think he should. And by the way, I also don't believe that he's actually not supporting the development
Correct.
in the green space by the city hall. I believe that no matter what he says, he's going to support it down the road, even if he says he doesn't right now. It's just a way for him to get votes.
So let's talk about Andy Thompson just for a second, because
Let's do it.
I gotta get this off my chest. So Andy Thompson in 2022 vacated his city commission seat or his city council seat to run for 92 against Peggy
Peggy
Gossett Sideman. Okay,
91.
so right,
90,
no 91.
I think it's 91.
91.
91.
91. Sorry.
I was like,
No,
aren't we
it's
in
Kelly's
District
good one.
91?
Oh my God, 91. So
More coffee.
Yeah. Gosh. Cobwebs from not doing the podcast.
I know. You
this
got to
week.
shake them all loose. They got to shake all the information loose. It's usually just bouncing around in our heads, and then we get it out. And now it's just been bouncing for like 6
Yeah.
weeks.
Exactly,
So it's just
exactly.
all up there.
So State House 91. So Peggy won. And it was a tough race.
it was a miracle win for
correct.
It was an
correct.
uphill
her.
battle.
There
I
was
remember.
so
If-
much money being
if-
poured into his
If
race.
Oh, yeah.
we didn't get state support, we would have lost that race.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, thankfully, Peggy really advocated for Boca Raton and how important it was.
To be fair, Peggy knocked on every door
Peggy
humanly
hustled.
imaginable.
Peggy
Yes.
hustled that race.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a combo of the two
Oh,
things.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. And so what does Andy Thompson do? Turns around and runs for city council on the next again. So he wins over Brian Stenberg because he basically called out Brian for telling the truth,
Which is
Say-
that we're either going to have to.
raise taxes,
Yes.
or we're going to have to eliminate services that the city provides.
That goes back to that old saying in politics: is accuse your opponent of what you yourself are already doing.
Exactly. And then guess
Correct.
who, once Andy got elected, guess who actually decided to bring forward in the idea of doing a bond to pay for things, which is taxes. Raising taxes.
Andy Thompson.
In a roundabout way.
Oh yeah.
So then now he hasn't, but 2 years? Not even?
Not even.
No.
Right. So he had another year left of his term,
Mhm.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Andy
He's
Thompson
vacating early. Yeah.
has
Mhm.
another year left of his city council term. What is he going to do? He's going to vacate that seat to run for mayor.
And here's what I actually think is going to happen. this is my own just ruminating speculation, because he doesn't have to vacate the seat until the term starts. So he doesn't actually have to vacate. So he can sit there and vote for things.
All the way up until the election.
All the way up to the election. So he doesn't have to vacate the seat. And so, but once he vacates it, let's just say he loses. He could then turn around and file to run for that seat again, because they're going to have to call a special election. They can't call the special election until he vacates the seat.
Is it a special election or is it an appointment?
It'll be a special. I believe it'll be a special election where it's a little gray.
I don't think so, because it would be the end of his.
The next year, it would be a whole year of his term, and the way that the state laws apply don't apply necessarily to the city. It's the city charter that dictates that, and it says a certain amount of days. I haven't calculated the days, whether it's going to be a special election like where they call it, or if they're going to add it onto the ballot in August, which is because it'll be August. It'll be primary season.
Oh yeah.
For August 26th, so they might just put it on the ballot in August 26th. It depends on for August of 26. It depends on where the dates fall. So don't quote me on that. But either way, it is going to be actually Bob Weinroth has already filed to run for that seat.
Right.
Even though it's not vacated yet. So I'd be willing to bet that if Andy loses the mayor position, he's going to try to run for that seat again, to try to hold on to a seat.
I'm like, Boca Raton, why do you keep electing this guy? And then I'm like, oh, he plays the Lois Frankel card, is what he does. Is he acts like he's all, moderate and he's friendly and that he's going to work for you, and then does the complete opposite once he's in office.
Just a reminder for everyone who thinks he might be moderate, the flyers that he approved to send out during that campaign against Peggy were hardcore leftists. Yeah. They were very pro-abortion, and they were very anti-gun. Like, very.
Oh, yeah.
And
even the commercials.
Yeah, the commercials, all of it. And whether or not he says, oh, that was my campaign manager or whatever, no. When
you are responsible
approve,
for your
you're
own
the
campaign.
Anyway,
Don't give me
anyway,
that.
that's so I asked Boca. Boca.
Yeah. So these are the games that the Democrats play with our lives.
Yeah.
And
literally.
And they're able to get away with it because Republicans don't pay attention and vet their candidates and make sure that they're getting the best voice to represent them, to make sure that their long-term needs are met with infrastructure and making sure that they're doing responsible development.
Yeah. I mean, everyone understands that development has to happen. If you look at the amount of people that have moved to Florida in the last 5 years, obviously development has to happen. But it has to be done responsibly. It has to be done in the right places. And it has to be done with the opinion and input of the residents who are already living in those places.
Well, I mean, when development happened in Palm Beach County, it was really big in late 1990s, early 2000s. And so, I mean, you're talking 25 years old now. So it's like it needs to be and the key words are responsible redevelopment.
We talk about this a lot. There's so many places that in the Palm Beach County that could be redeveloped to be better use.
Well, something that they're doing up in the central part of the county, there was a church. I want to say it was on like Haverhill, somewhere over there. The church made it, a developer came to the church, made a deal with the church that they would either buy the land or lease the land, whatever it was, knock down the church, build a high-rise, and give the church the whole first floor.
Interesting.
And redevelop the whole thing.
That's perfect.
Which is a great idea.
Yeah. That's an amazing idea.
As long as the density is still within bounds.
Well, that's the thing. Keep it within the laws. There's plenty of places where density can be put in.
Yep. And I think that is a great, and that's something, I think that falls under the county, and I think that's a genius move to start going that way, because you have, especially up in that area, you have Jog Road that's church lane, and all these churches are tiny and old and dilapidated. Who wouldn't jump at the what pastor or rabbi wouldn't jump at the chance of getting a brand new sanctuary, a brand new church, while still and getting potential congregants living upstairs?
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, you're actually feeding the church by feeding the people upstairs, and so that's a genius idea.
I like that idea.
That's an amazing idea. And it's like we have a lot of like old strip malls type thing. Broward has a lot of them too. So it's like have your retail on your bottom floor go up.
It doesn't even have to be high. You could do like 3 stories and make it a 4-story building with tons of opportunity
Right.
for that. There's ways to we just again they're not running for governing for the people, and they're running for their stepping stone. They're running for their next race, and I think we especially as Republicans need to call it out in both parties. If we see it happening in our party, we need to do it as well, because there are people in our party who do it also.
Yep.
And we need to call it out and say, and I don't think there's anything wrong with someone who wants to then run for another office. Like, I'm not saying that that's a wrong thing. I'm saying that should not be your driving reason on how you make decisions for the job that you're doing. If you are elected to represent the people of the city of Boca, that's who you represent. You don't need to, you're not representing a district to the state yet. So don't be making decisions that are like, oh, well, do make the decisions that are the best decisions for the people that's the whole point of a representative government. And again, we wouldn't have to be doing a referendum on the charter if the representative government was responsible for the property and did what the residents asked. If the residents were demanding and saying, we want more development, then okay, fine.
Oh, yeah.
Literally, no one that lives in the city of Boca, except for developers or people who benefit from developers, correct me if I'm wrong, if you want development, shout it out. But I have not talked to a single person that's like, yes, let's put more high rises in our city.
And not for nothing, this is the reason, I moved into the city limits of Boca Raton. We lived on the outside of Boca Raton for 15 years. Something like that. And then so we moved into the city limits of Boca for 2 years. I had to get out. It was that bad. The traffic.
Yep.
And I work from home.
Gosh, don't get me started on traffic.
The train, like, I mean,
the bright line that nobody takes.
The killer train.
Right.
It's like from the stoplights to, like the city events that shut down roads and everything else when you're trying to get around.
You did live close to the downtown.
I did.
So to be fair, you did live in an area where a lot of that stuff happens. That doesn't happen in my neighborhood.
I get it. I totally get it. And I chose to do it full stop. But it was like, we actually looked at a property right there on 4th Diagonal, which is exactly where all of the construction and everything would be happening.
Yep.
Is I was like,
all of the houses for sale, all of the houses along that 4th Diagonal that will be across the street from that property. And these are beautiful, some of them beautiful big houses. One of them is like my kid's dream house because it has a tree house in the backyard. And they're like, and it's always decorated really pretty for Christmas. It's fabulous house. For sale. They're all going up for sale. And I'm like, nobody's going to buy those. Only people who are going to buy them are people coming from out of town. And
that don't know.
That don't know. And as soon as they see those construction cranes, they're going to be like, deuces, we're out.
Yep. Well, unless it's a New Yorker who's already used to the construction.
Yeah,
that's true. Well, so then you have someone like our mayor who's originally from New York. Don't hold that against him, except for you've got my dad's from New York, so I can't exactly hold it against him. But my dad's lived here for a very long time. Yeah. And when Mom Donnie got the nomination up in Manhattan, our esteemed mayor made the national news in the New York Post saying, "Hey, everyone from New York, come to Boca, our sleepy little town of 100,000 people. Yes, Manhattan, please come to Boca and bring your businesses here."
Well, it wasn't just him. The county did the same thing.
The county did the same thing, but the county's one thing.
Oh, yeah.
Our tiny little Boca town, we have 100,000 people that live in Boca. It's a small town. It's not like this massive city, okay?
It cost $70,000 for him to do that.
Wait, we paid $70,000?
$70,000.
What the fudge?
Wait.
Get the beep
Wait.
He
Yeah,
paid for that?
I saw an article that it cost the city.
I didn't know you guys had one of those.
We do have one of those. You just
I'm usually a little slow on the
a
draw.
little slow on the draw, though. Are
Yeah,
you
I read
effing kidding me?
I read an article that it was $70,000. Let me see if I can
I thought it
find
was just an interview.
I thought it was just an interview where they called him and was like, "Hey."
Well, I know he was on.
No,
I think he was on Fox.
They did a billboard in Times Square.
Shut up!
my
You didn't see
God.
that? No! Sorry. Are you freaking kidding me? I just thought he was interviewed in the New York Post, which was bad enough.
Oh.
We paid $70,000. Ooh, that's it.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm livid right now. I'm so mad.
Well,
Are you kidding
come
me?
to the central part of the county. We're doing great.
They want to rate. They want.
I want to shout out my central part of the county municipality.
I'm moving to
wonderful.
Boynton.
Yes, Sun Sentinel, Boca Raton markets to New York City through Times Square recently spent 70,000. Boca Raton officials recently spent $70,000 for
Was
a
this
Times
voted on?
Square.
Fudging kidding me.
Was it voted on?
Fudging
I do not know.
kidding me.
If it was voted on, then we need to see who voted for it. Wow.
Low property taxes?
Yeah. Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Well,
we pay like the highest property taxes in the area.
Compared to
Everywhere.
New York, it's cheap.
That's true. Well, you get taxed to breathe up there. I mean, come on.
I cannot believe I did not know that.
I mean, the guy running now doesn't even believe in billionaires, but he wants to work with them.
He wants to work with them.
He wants to work with them to take their money
This is
away.
a Republican mayor.
Okay,
Wow.
that's it. Okay, I need to know more. We're gonna find out. I'm doing a public records request. I'm making a note because I can do that.
Wow.
And I will call the clerk. I know her.
Because we don't have enough attention
And
in
put
this
it in.
county and
Right?
enough people moving down here.
To Boca. There's nowhere for people to go. There's
Anywhere.
nowhere.
Well,
there's
an
no
extra
place.
space now.
Well, there's an extra.
There's an extra space where we moved out.
Where you moved out.
They got that
But
one.
there's no, and we don't even have like in some cities you can do the redevelopment and stuff. We don't have places to redevelop.
Right.
Like it is a small town. Like
It's
literally-
already wall-to-wall high-rises.
It's already the only place they can put is in brick.
yes.
It's the only place that you can do it without destroying the aesthetic of the city.
Well, in order
Which
to
is already-
lower Josie's blood pressure, I think we should move to state level stuff.
All right, public records request for $70,000. I did not know that. I'm so glad you told me because I'm
I'm
they're
so
getting
glad
yelled.
I told you on air. It's very
And we can see
theoretic.
your reaction.
Yeah.
Can we get one more beep on her? Because we've been in.
Yeah, my blood pressure just went up. I need a drink. Okay.
I usually had vodka in that.
I
bottle.
don't. It's just water. Stu always accuses me of having vodka in my water bottles. It's not. It's just water.
What was it that I said a little bit ago? Accuse someone else of what you're doing yourself.
That's right.
So this is the last thing I'll do into it. The digital ad at 1500 Broadway would normally run $209,850. However, Neutron Media offered it to Boca Raton for $70,000 for the campaign to run from July 11th to September 30th.
It's still running.
So it's still running.
Is that legal?
According to the contract signed by the city. The company's media kit lists the price of the 30-day ad campaign for $75,950.
75,000.
I don't even know what to say right now. Wait, what was the name of the company? Newton?
Wait, can't you?
Neutron Media.
Neutron.
Can't you like pay to put a billboard in Times Square from like your phone for like $20?
I don't know if it's that. I know Tim Pool did it.
He did it. It was 70,000. It was about that. It was a lot.
Was it?
Chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like $100,000 or something.
Yeah, he did the chicken. Okay. So what
Wow.
what incentive does a company have to give Boca Raton, an organization, not a city like that nobody knows of? The only reason people know Boca is because of the retired people and the Owls. Now, just because of the NCAA a couple years ago, they literally called it FAU because nobody knew where FAU was. Which fair.
Wow.
So why would they give such a good deal to this tiny little
That's an
town?
interesting little question.
Because they're going to do their headquarters probably in Boca
Fudging
Raton.
heck.
Once everything gets built up with
They're gonna approve we don't do billboards
in Boca Raton.
in Boca Raton.
That's true.
We don't have billboards. We've won.
And they fought against having billboards just a couple years ago.
we had to fight for it again.
Yep.
Freaking crap.
There is one. by
It's
the Boca-
grandfathered in.
Yep. By the Boca
And it's
Raton
not very
County.
tall.
You don't
It's
have
very
signs
small.
up in the air either in Boca.
No,
Nope.
you're not allowed to have
That's why I
signs.
couldn't, when we first came down here for an interview, I couldn't find anything because there was no signs up in the air.
Nope.
In Michigan, they're all up in the air.
Everything's up in the air.
You can see it for 2 miles away.
That's
Oh,
why
the
we don't do it
McDonald's.
because we are technically a city within a park.
I'm
And-
learning a lot about South County, and I'm really appreciating my Central County.
Yeah,
I see.
We get ignored a lot, but we're doing great.
You don't have your mayor doing media tours to try to bring people to
No,
you.
our mayors in the Central are doing great. Chuck Shaw out in Green Acres, Bev Smith in Palm Springs, they're doing great.
Yeah.
And their city councils, they're
I do think there's Boynton is coming on a revival there with like its
Boynton's
good
on the
mayor.
verge of-
Boynton's
yeah.
doing some good stuff. I
Oh, the cutest thing. The city of Boynton.
you talk about her dog.
No, that is the cutest thing. Rebecca and her dog is really cute. I'm a little biased, but they're putting on. I wish I had the information. I left it at home. I was rushing out today, so I missed. I left a
Gosh,
few
you left
things.
everything
I
at
know.
home, Jessica.
City of Boynton is putting together a senior prom.
Oh, that's awesome.
If you're 55 and older, you get to go, and you could go either as a single or a couple.
Oh,
That's the
awesome.
cutest thing.
I know a couple towns in
so
the area.
I could
actually.
go.
You could go.
A couple
Steve's
towns
like, "Party."
up there do the same. I know Lake Clark Shores does, like, they take seniors to lunch. The town actually like buses them to lunch right there. We have
that's
a
so
restaurant right outside,
cool.
and I want to say Green Acres does a similar thing too.
Aw.
Yeah.
All right. Should we expand this conversation to the state?
Yeah.
Oh, let's
Okay.
go.
So we've got
going.
some interesting races that we're going to watch. Let's start with one that Daniel referenced earlier, which is with David Silvers, Yvette Drucker, and Rick Roth, which is State Senate District 26, which encompasses Boca, like at the, I think Clintmore, I think is the line. Is it
I think it
Clintmore or
goes up.
St. Andrews?
Clintmore.
Is it Clintmore?
I'm not sure, but I know
I
the
think it's
north
Clintmore.
is
You're right. It's
Hypoluxo.
Clintmore. Clintmore up to Hypoluxo,
Mhm.
and then
Out to Belglade.
out to Belglade. So it's a big,
It's
wide
big, yeah.
district, which is why Rick Roth can run in it because he's
Yep.
out in BFE West County.
Yep.
So if David Silvers, we'll talk about him in a second, Yvette Drucker, and Rick Roth. So who is David Silvers? Tell us
Well,
about
David
him.
Silvers was a state rep,
Uh-huh.
not in the district that he's running for now, and up north where I was. Um,
So he didn't live in his district?
no,
Ever?
No.
Did he have a house? Or an
He
address?
had an address somewhere.
That's what
that-
Democrats do.
Yeah, they had a.
Jared
they had an
Moskowitz did the same thing.
Yep, had an address somewhere and claimed he lived in the district, and he always lived in Delray. Of course, I only came to find out about that after I lost to him. But anyways,
If you had had a campaign manager like me, you would have had that figured out. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, but so he's been there. I mean, anyone you ask that's worked with him says he's a nice guy. I think I've met him a total of once, and I ran against him. And even then, we shook hands and moved on with our lives. But he is a party insider that gives him a little bit of an interesting.
Do you think he has designs for
flair.
hire? Like governor?
I'm not sure. I wouldn't be.
Sure, wouldn't it
Shocked?
be Congress first?
It probably would be congressional because what Democrat's going to try to run for governor now?
Right.
Well, that was Andy's trajectory.
Well, until he got swallowed up by the DeSantis wave in 22.
That's true. That's
Right.
true. It's a good
And
point.
now you got a former Republican that they had to recruit to run on the Democratic side because they can't even find someone.
That's true.
They can't
Good
even
point.
find someone to run for this U.S. Senate against Ashley Moody.
Can you believe that they turned down, what's his name for, this clown that they've picked?
Who?
He was our guest.
Oh, Pizzo?
Pizzo. Yeah. They
Oh,
turned
yeah.
down Pizzo
Oh, yeah.
for
But he's still
Dolly.
running.
Pizzo hasn't filed to run.
Pizzo is filed to
Has
run
he
as an
really?
independent.
Has he really?
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't see it. Can you pull your microphone down just a
Oh,
little bit?
yep.
No, like there.
There
we
we
go.
go.
Now I can see.
I don't see him
Yeah,
on the
Pizzo.
list.
He didn't.
Pizzo should have been.
Is he on the list? I'll let you look because you have the
No,
computer.
he's
It's
not on
faster.
I
He's
guess
not
he
on.
isn't. But he did come out and say he was going to run as an independent.
I did hear that. He
I-
probably just hasn't filed.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
hasn't filed. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, neither is Casey DeSantis, but
Is she gonna? I don't think she's gonna file.
it's. I keep hearing it's either going to be Casey DeSantis or Senator Collins. I forget his first name. He's from up north.
Jay Collins?
Yes, he's a strong. He's being
He's
talked
the
about
one
for.
that he's going to be the DeSantis nominee, like the heir
Yes.
to DeSantis.
Well, because they're talking about him becoming lieutenant governor.
oh,
Oh, Collins becoming lieutenant governor.
Hmm. So that's if he does. It's a thing. If she doesn't run, maybe he'll run, and DeSantis will be. But who knows? I mean,
that race is going to get icky. And we keep predicting that, and I'm just waiting for it.
yeah.
It's gonna get icky. And like, if Pizzo would have stayed as a Democrat, I think we've talked about this before, and I'd be curious what you think, because if it gets so, especially if you go on like X and on social media, and you're looking at like all of the fights between like the DeSantis camp and the Trump camp. So like on paper, DeSantis and Trump have made up, but the people, the vote, the supporters,
they were together today.
right. So they've made up, but
Yep.
the supporters have not
Have
made
not,
up.
nope.
They hate each other, and they hate the people that those candidates support by proxy. So,
Exhibit
like-
A, Mike Caruso.
Right, exactly, Mike Caruso. And so, you've got Donald, who's the heir apparent for the, as the Republican nominee, but yet he's not
losing in the polls to someone who hasn't even mentioned if she wants to run or not.
Exactly. So with that infighting and the Republicans being so good at snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, if it gets so ugly between the two camps, if Pizzo is a strong, solid, voice of reason, moderate, could he pull those votes and have won as a Democrat?
Oh, as a Democrat, if he would have, if he would have had to play his cards perfectly, and it's a tough prediction to make, but
no, I know it's definitely all just speculation. Before he left the Democrat Party,
did he? Okay,
yeah, we had him on because he actually asked to come on.
December.
Yeah, December of last year.
Yeah. And we were like, sure, let's chat. And it was a very interesting conversation. I highly recommend, any of our listeners to go back and watch that one. He was a very interesting guest to have on, for sure. Obviously, we don't agree on everything or a lot of things, but it was interesting to hear his perspective and his point of view. And that was one of the things he said. It was like, I am here because I want to right the ship of the Democrat Party.
We have a couple people in the chat, so I just want to shout them out. We have Lily Till that's excited to listening to get to know Daniel.
Hey.
And
Nice to meet you.
and Sassy Gal has attended us and is live in the chat. So
About that, how do you get in so late into the game? It is a DeSantis name, and I get that. I don't think Collins has a snowball's chance in hell, but how do you combat that as if you're Casey and you decide to run?
It's gonna be the grassroots infighting of like this. Donald is just a Trump appointee. And not someone who he's in Congress. He has no idea what Florida's like. I am not advocating for
so
Casey
was Ron
DeSantis. Right, but they're not going to. But he's now. But see, if Casey runs, this is just my political theorizing, not saying supporting this in any way, supporting either of the candidates and whatsoever. Taking sides. Let me clarify. I could absolutely see where they would come in and say, yes, but she has been here. She's been at her husband's side for the last 8 years. She understands the needs of Floridians. She's raising her children here in Florida. She's here, a part of what's going on. Whereas Donald is not here. He's in Washington, D.C., and he does not have his...
Donald is everywhere.
Right. So I could see where people
go to
could
Republican
say that.
events, you've seen
He is at
Donald's.
Donald. He is Donald.
He's
right.
there.
No, I don't disagree.
And
And I've met him. He's very nice.
Very
I
nice.
really
I've
like him a
spoken to
lot
him
as a
before,
person. Yeah, he's a
but
very good person. Very nice person.
Now the question is this a repeat of Putnam DeSantis, where DeSantis was behind in the primary to Adam Putnam, our former agriculture commissioner?
That's right.
And in comes the Trump commercial with his kids and building the wall and the endorsement.
And boom.
And boom, he becomes our nominee.
And the word on the street is that it was the mandate was given to people in the Republican Party as we're supporting DeSantis from the Trump voice.
Is Trump's popular? But then you look now, and I believe the other day DeSantis had a higher approval than Trump in the state.
So that's the thing.
Yep.
Here's the thing. You have that's my whole point in what I'm saying is you have people as Republicans who are so good at stealing defeat from the jaws of victory, where we go, my guy didn't win, I'm going to take my toys and go home. And that's where I could see someone other than a Republican getting elected. It's not out of the other people voting for them. It's them saying, you know what, I don't like Trump's policies, or I don't like what Trump did to DeSantis. I don't like how that whole thing went down. That Donald is Trump's guy. He's not going to be there I'm just not going to vote. I'm going to sit it out. And you're going to see less of a turnout, which is then going to affect our down ballot candidates.
Well, you're going to see that anyway because Trump's not on the ticket. So
of course.
So, we're going to go back to, we're going to be lucky if we get a 25% turnout in
the general?
In the
midterm, you think? Really?
Maybe I'm exaggerating.
That's the primary.
A little,
but
maybe 50.
That might.
We're not going to hit 90% again.
No.
We'll be lucky if we get, maybe 60.
Was that the percentage in 22? 90%?
94.
Really?
Or in 24 was 90%.
24.
In
with
Florida,
Trump on the ballot.
In Palm Beach County, we had a 90% turnout.
Of voters.
And our candidates lost.
Republican candidates.
Wow. Yeah, because we had, in my district, we had a 96% Republican turnout in my district. And we still couldn't overcome it.
We did a great job getting out the votes.
We did a really good job getting out the vote.
We didn't have electable candidates on the
I
ballot.
I know this is
except for you, Daniel.
Get some eye rolls on this one. I have to give Kevin Neal credit on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kevin Neal did put together an apparatus. The former chairman of the REC did put together a good apparatus to make calls, send text messages,
get
put
out the
out
vote,
ads
yeah.
on
Yeah.
Facebook, sending out blasts. I give him credit for
Yeah.
that.
Where he and I agree with you. I just want to note as well where he failed was in the primary aspects of it. Is he let that go off the rails so that the wrong Republican candidates were on the ballot in November. Because if we would have had those primary challengers win, we would have won in November, and that at least several of our races, and it would have had a trickle down effect to be able to help our smaller races, and that's where, and that had nothing. I mean, it didn't have anything directly to do with Kevin and his leadership per se, but it was allowed to happen because is what all of our Republican candidates just killed each other in the primary.
Yeah.
So Democrats and soft leaning Democrats and MPAs were like, why would I vote for that guy? Your other guy doesn't even like him. Like why would or girl or whatever it was. It's like that's the play. That's what the Democrats want. They want us killing each other in these races so that they look like the golden child come November. And we appreciate our listeners and everybody that is politically astute as we are, but our average voter are not.
Yeah.
So it's like they're just getting snapshots,
Yep.
as
They
Dan,
just see the ads or whatever,
as Dan
and they're like,
Bongino says, snapshots and sound bites. Yeah.
There it is.
And so it's like that's what they're paying attention to, and all it takes is just a couple little snidbits of you painting some your Republican challenger in a bad light, and next thing you know, they have lost the NPA and soft end votes that would have voted. And the perfect example of that is the sheriff's race, 100%, because we had Alex Friedman ready to endorse Lauro Diaz, and we lost.
bring all of those Democrat voters.
Because they were done with Bradshaw. They wanted a thing. They actually appreciated Diaz, but they were still Democrats, so they wanted to vote for Alex Friedman. When he lost, and none of them liked Gauger. Nobody in the community thought he would be a good sheriff. They did not like the way that he did anything when he was in office, and he sold out the office to the sheriff every chance that he got. So he was not a good candidate. He still is not a good candidate, and this is why we lose, because we do not put good electable people in on the ballot in November. We vote for our friends and the ones that stroke our ego and the ones that tell us what they want to hear, but we don't actually vet them and make sure that the right people get on the ballot in November, because that would have made the difference.
I think that would have made a huge difference. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, even when it comes to back to governor, it's not. I think that we are the Democrat Party has already abandoned Florida.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're not
going to spend
coming
money
back here, no
No.
matter what Nikki Fried cries about on the news.
She's the best thing that's ever happened to the
Oh, it's
Republican
fantastic.
Party in Florida.
I love her and Evan Powers banter back and
It's
forth.
great.
It's hilarious.
Evan Powers
I
is
love
fantastic.
it. Yeah, I
I
love
He's
it.
hysterical when it comes to that. But they've abandoned them. The state party's broke. Well, the national party's broke. The state party's broke.
So I haven't
The
seen you
county
spend
party's
$2
broke.
billion on an election or million,
Yeah,
whatever
and then
it was.
try to spend another $2 million on trying to understand how to win back young white men. Is that what the number was? But anyways,
Money well
'cause-
spent.
Oh yeah.
Spending it
I
on
can't-
Keep going.
can't
Keep
imagine.
going.
Yeah.
just because white guys for Kamala didn't hit
It didn't
right,
take
it
off.
didn't take off. I don't know why it wouldn't
Something
take off.
odd about those guys when that they're on TV is like they look kind of strange.
Creepy.
Tim Waltz.
But yeah,
Okay.
but you.
They had to check their testosterone at the door.
But if you look at that part of it, even if we do beat the crap out of each other, I don't see us losing.
I don't think so. I mean,
Not the governor.
Not the
Yeah.
governor,
No.
but I do think that there will be people who stay home, and I do think that will affect the down ballot races.
It's
So if
possible.
someone's
But
not
if
coming
we
out to
have-
vote for governor, they're not going to come out and vote for state house.
But if we have a primary, we can carry the elections that happen in August. School board, judges,
Yes,
all those
that's
kinds of
true.
offices.
That's good. That's
Especially here in Palm Beach County, where we have a chance of 2 seats that are open
Yes.
that are going to need high turnout.
What seats are those, Dan?
For school board,
Those
yeah.
are District 4 and District 6.
Okay.
So
So they're not the people that are holding them are not running for re-election?
No, because right now you have Marsha Andrews is not running for re-election. She's retiring. She's been there for I want to say 15 years on the board.
I was going to say a decade or more.
Yeah,
Too long.
and
Too long.
And Erica Whitfield is running for county commission.
She's running for county commission. I knew that. She's running
Yep.
for District 2.
She is the only person in the race right now.
Right, because Joe Casello and the other Joe guy withdrew.
Joe Peduzzi dropped out of the race.
Why? Do we
and,
know why?
I don't know.
I didn't see
He
anything in the
wanted
news.
he decided to keep his seat at West Palm, I guess.
Yeah, he did
More
decide
power.
that. And obviously, he was run by Cornerstone. So is Erica. So the moment he got out, they had a replacement for him ready in the wings because from my understanding, she had been talking about it since like January before Peduzzi jumped in, and they told her, "Wait your turn, stay on the school board." Until
Democrats tell their candidates what to do,
And they listen?
And they abide by
Oh
it?
well, when you
They
look at
listen?
Just
when you
saying.
look at the District 7, District 26 switch up that we had in the last cycle, Bobby Powell, Mac Bernard, where David Silvers got left out of the equation and got left out in the cold, and that's why now he's running for the Senate down south because he wanted District 26.
Oh.
He wanted State District 26, which
They gave it to Bobby Powell.
which overlapped with.
They gave it to
his
Mac Bernard.
State House seat, but he was told he could not because Bobby and Mac were going to switch spots, and they weren't. That was the arrangement that was going to be made. It was.
So is he going rogue by running for this, or
I'm
did they just
not
find him a new spot?
Entirely sure. I'm sure they found because he announced that was a story that was written in. I remember seeing it in Florida Politics.
Oh.
It was a story written where all three of them came to an agreement. Mac was going to the 26, Bobby was going to District 7 Commission, and that's where he announced that he was gonna run down.
So they probably were like, all right, we'll give you this.
Exactly.
And now you've got Drucker, who's like, I'm coming in.
Well, just to correct the record, it's not 26, it's 24.
Oh, I'm
24,
sorry.
I'm
It's
sorry,
24.
yes.
That was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, 24.
Well, no, I think is 26 the one that Silvers is running
26
for now.
is the one that's running.
Yeah.
Oh,
for
okay. So
24
24
is
was the
Mac
Swaparooski.
Yes.
Right.
26 is the one that we're looking at now.
Bernard
Okay.
is running for re-election for 24.
For
'cause
24.
He finished
Which-
Powell's term.
Which
Mac
was
Bernard is also the person running Cornerstone now. By the way,
Isn't it a conflict of interest?
I'm not sure, but I saw that in a story.
I
somewhere.
knew that. I knew
Really?
that.
Yeah,
you
he
told
was-
me that. Somebody told me that.
I saw that in a story recently.
No,
saw
but I
that-
knew this.
I think it was another Florida. I'm always reading Florida Politics.
I know.
by the
Yeah,
way.
me too.
It's one of my favorite sites. But
I think
I saw that on Florida Politics
Yeah,
because
I
as
think
Nani
I
had
feel like now
stepped
that you
away.
say that, I feel like somewhere in my
I'm
brain,
very
I feel like I
curious
knew
how
that.
the Democrat Party was involved with Yvette Drucker and David Silvers.
I
I'd
want to
like
know how
That
that's
has
going to
to
go
be.
How
down.
that
Well,
happened.
the new Democratic leader in the Senate is backing Yvette. Lori
Interesting.
Berman has endorsed Yvette.
Oh, yeah, 'cause
that
they're
makes
butt buddies.
sense.
Yep.
Buddies.
Oh, that makes sense.
Slow on the draw there.
Oh, that makes total sense.
They're buddies.
Yep. So they
So Lori Berman's endorsed her for her replacement.
for her replacement.
Mm.
That is the.
Ah.
So who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know the
So
exact.
I keep saying, and I've said this before, I'm going to remind our viewers again, that this is going to be an interesting race to watch. If we want to watch how Democrats run against each other in a primary to then also try to run for the district.
I can imagine that Democrats are very upset that there's a primary happening
Yep.
because they are a lot better at us than at keeping one candidate in the race
Yeah.
and no one else. They're a lot better at
Well,
it
Yvette
than
kind of
us.
strikes me as the type who's kind of like, I'm going to do what I want.
Yes.
But Yvette is a lot more liberal than David.
He's pretty liberal. I've sat in community meetings with him and things he said. I don't know if he's just playing to the crowd, but things he said have been very liberal.
Has he?
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. Yvette hasn't pulled her partisan card too much yet.
Yeah.
So that's that because she's
Well,
been in
I
she's in a
would say-
nonpartisan. She's been in a nonpartisan seat. I ran against her.
Oh, yeah.
She was my first, my one and only campaign. I ran against her,
Mhm.
and so it was a nonpartisan race, and blah
And
blah blah.
I think she's good at playing the moderate card.
That's what I'm saying. She's
Yeah.
been able to do that.
Way
depends on
better
the
than
crowd.
That's how
yeah.
David
'Cause I've
Silvers is too,
seen-
because
yeah.
when it was in a Cobra meeting where almost everyone in that room is uber leftist, and he said all the right things.
Yeah.
So was he playing to the crowd, or was that really how he stands? We don't know.
I'm not sure because the crowd I heard Yvette speaking at was not a liberal crowd.
Where'd you hear her?
It was the Hispanic vote event.
Oh.
And it's a very 50-50 crowd.
Yeah, it's very
and
split
it's
crowd.
Not.
And she was like liberal, very liberal.
There was a couple times where she went that way and tried to, but it was a panel of I think it was all Democrats on the panel. It was Yvette Drucker, Angela Cruz from Boynton, Virginia Savieto from the school board, and it was moderated. Oh, she's a Republican, and Maria Antonia from Wellington. So she wasn't on the panel; she was moderating it, but they were all Democrats. But even Virginia's not a far left.
No, I was going to
Democrat,
say she's not.
I was very disappointed.
And neither is
her.
Angela.
I was very disappointed in Virginia for doing what she did with Lois Frankel.
What did she do with Lois Frankel?
Well, she had news conferences with her playing into the BS that Lois was saying, like about the school board and cutting school lunches and all of that kind of stuff.
Well, to be fair, they froze the funding, but they got it back.
Exactly, and Deborah Tendrick was there too, and it's like you just saw how that Lois called them and was like, "Oh, you know, come do this conference with me."
Well, you don't need to call Deborah; she'll find a camera. Don't worry.
You're not as nice to her as you are to David Silver.
Well, David, I didn't have much interaction with.
That's true. That's true. It was a much longer runway for
but
that
it was
campaign.
it was a very nice. Neither one of us attacked. I don't believe in attacking personally, and I never did, and I never attacked either one of them. But am I upset that my district is being represented by someone that can't bring money home and can't get anything done? Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. No,
Plain and
I think
simple.
that's very fair.
If I were a candidate or not, I'd still be
You'd still be upset about it.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got David Silvers, Yvette Drucker, and then we've got Rick Roth. So Rick Roth was a state senator for... State rep, I'm sorry.
For 8 years.
For 8 years.
Same time as David Silvers.
Terms out.
Mm-hmm.
And he is now filed to run. He's the only Republican running in that seat. It is a very heavy Democrat seat.
I think it's the closest Senate seat we have in Palm Beach County.
Is it?
I think it's like a D+8 or D+6.
Let me get out my...
Get out the binder, because I thought it was more than that, but I very well could be wrong. Cause
the one that is awful, the Tina Polsky seat is like a D+14.
Yes, we know it's because it's Broward County.
Yes.
It's a Broward seat.
And
if we get redistricting, could we redistrict us out of that?
I don't think it's included in the actual thing
Why
that
not?
they've started. But
it would be great, because it's very, I will say, as a South County person in a very red part of the county, where there's only a few parts of the county that are very red. I live in a higher red area. We get 0 representatives, except for Peggy. But anything that crosses over into the Broward line, so our state Senate district and our congressional district, we don't have a shot in snowballs.
Yeah, they...
Maybe the congressional district.
It is a closer than, because
it's closer than before.
Mac Bernard's is like a D+27 or something like that. His is like the deepest blue.
Well, it's because it's in the blue wall.
Mac Bernard's is north. He has my district, and he goes up to like...
which your district is...
Oh,
the blue
okay,
wall starts at like Delray, Boynton, and goes up to like where it starts to turn red. We call that on the show the blue wall.
Oh, well,
which is
his goes south, as far south as Hypoluxo.
Yeah, but it starts at like Delray.
So Senate
So,
20...
Not
No,
his.
the blue wall does.
No, the
Oh,
blue
the
wall.
blue wall. Oh, okay.
The
okay,
blue
okay.
wall.
I'm a little confused.
No, that's okay. So we call the blue wall kind of like that, like between like Boca area and where it starts to turn more red as you get further north, like where Caruso's
like
district
Gardens.
is. Yeah.
Okay.
So that area was kind of the blue wall.
Gotcha.
So Senate 26 is a D+8.
Okay.
So, and
What's
listen,
his Polsky's? Which is
D+14,
30.
I think.
R+4
Polsky's?
for Palm Beach County.
For
side.
Palm Beach, because that's only Palm Beach County.
Okay, I
Yeah,
was gonna say.
that's
I
why
think it's a D+8,
Reicheter
14
won
though.
in Palm Beach County. So
Yeah.
in that race,
And
right?
so did Joe Kaufman.
That's why I'm talking about the west side. I don't think of the county is as blue as you think it is.
No,
Josie.
it is not.
It was.
It was, yes.
It might
no,
be shifting
but that's
now.
where Meg Weinberger is. That's where Rick
No,
Roth
but I'm talking
was.
about south part, like
Oh,
West
okay,
Boca,
okay,
West
okay.
Boynton,
Skidmore.
Skidmore.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she ran unopposed last time, so
Right,
we don't have the
I
data.
don't
True.
have data to find out. Somebody should have ran. I'm telling you.
Yeah, well.
Somebody in there.
Josie.
I don't live in the district.
It's very. That's a,
I don't believe in running in a
that's
district
the-
you don't live in.
That is the only district we have that does not have not one municipality in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which makes it that much harder to have strong candidates in it.
Correct.
Just like County Commission District 5.
Yeah.
No municipalities, no nothing.
Right. Right.
So it's like the only pickings you got are like Cobra
And they're
candidates.
all gated communities.
Yep.
Oh,
And so it makes it very difficult to campaign in.
Yep.
But the thing of it,
Alliance.
but the thing of it is Delray Alliance and Cobra, they are swayable. You just
can
have,
be.
You just
Yeah,
have to work.
absolutely.
the
they
room.
love Marcy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they gave her an award. I'm pretty sure she's the only Republican that's ever walked in the room and they all applauded.
wow.
Ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Because
that-
she does good governance.
Listen, Marcy has done great for her district.
Yeah.
Marcy to me is the epitome of what I ran for.
Yep.
Someone that saw, and you guys know because you were,
Yeah.
someone that saw an issue, got approached, and was asked to run. And
Oh, she wasn't asked to run.
oh no,
No.
Oh.
She was like, well, she was asked to run by
I
just
asked
like,
her to
yeah,
run.
but like not by like people
No,
in
no,
charge
no,
of
no,
anything.
yeah.
Like big
Yeah,
people,
no,
but
just
like
us.
neighbors.
It
yeah,
was,
yeah, yeah.
It
Yes.
was me saying, Marcy, you should really run. And she was like, no, I don't want to.
I don't want to.
And I said, you should really run.
You should really do it.
I'm like, I think you could win.
She
And she pulled the numbers and she looked at it and she was like, I think I can win.
yeah, and she did,
And she
but she to me is the epitome of what politics should be.
Yeah.
Of neighbors getting together.
So why are people in our party so hell bent against her, do you think?
Yeah.
Because her original policy, from what I understand, when she first got into office, was to not endorse anybody, which then offends people when they don't get an endorsement because they don't understand the idea of staying out of a race.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some people in the party that cannot wrap their mind around a Republican endorsing someone in a nonpartisan race.
Mm-hmm.
Did she
Who may-
Did she really endorse?
She did. There was not a flyer that said Marcy Woodward endorses me.
No,
but
she was on, like,
she was a listing for. She was a host committee for
Yeah.
a fundraiser. Which
And what does a host committee mean when you're on a fundraiser?
not
Means you give
very
them some
much.
money.
You give them a couple dollars and you keep moving.
You say, sure, use my name.
Exactly. So for me,
Which, by the way, she didn't know at all that
And
that person was a Democrat.
And I
Had
I
no
don't
idea.
think
Which
she
it
gave
shouldn't
any
be.
money.
I don't think she did
I don't
either.
think she
but
gave
what
any money.
that's exactly how it shouldn't be at the municipal level.
Right.
You shouldn't know someone's party.
That she had no idea.
But we have people who can't wrap their mind around someone who could have possibly been a Democrat and become a Republican, or someone who could be a right-leaning Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
But if we held these standards to everybody, we wouldn't have Donald Trump in our party. We wouldn't have RFK Jr. in our cabinet. We wouldn't have Tulsi Gabbard running the
DNI, nope.
NSA, whatever it is. And we wouldn't have, even if you go locally, if you wanted to go REC level, there's members of our board who ran as Democrats for state senate in other states and are now sitting on our board, but are one of the loudest voices when it comes to opposing Democrats. Yes, I've always taken the policy of opposing bad policies, opposing bad people.
Yes.
We, especially at the municipal level and the nonpartisan level, we have to be open to the fact that this person has done a great job.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter what letter is next to their name, because at the end of the day, cities aren't really doing partisan
Cities are
work.
nonpartisan races.
Even
You're
if they're
not supposed to.
Nonpartisan races, they're not doing partisan work.
No.
They're not sitting here.
Even at the
taking
county level, a lot of what they do at the county level is also not partisan work.
Where a tree goes is not a Republican or Democrat issue. If a pothole is filled, is not a Democrat or
My
Republican
road
issue.
is paved,
How
not
many-
a Democrat or Republican
How
issue.
many floors up you can go, how many parking spots you need to have,
How many apartments in the
These
building.
are not Republican.
Right.
Where in Trump's platform did it say, I want a tree at every corner of the lot that you are going to build? Where?
So
it's
true.
not a Republican or a Democrat
So
issue. So why
true.
do we? If we are going to believe,
also because Palm Beach County has been so blue for so long, you needed to be a Democrat to win.
Of course.
Here. And we're getting to the point where we're getting more moderate Democrats in
Mm-hmm.
office. That these are people that actually would be willing to switch their party if they knew that they could win as a Republican.
which actually makes it so much harder for us.
Yes.
When we
It's very
exclude
difficult.
these moderate Democrats
Yeah.
who are willing and able to side with us, and we say no because you are a Democrat or no because you voted one way on a certain issue, they are going to keep running on the Democratic ticket and they're going to keep beating us.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And we're never
why-
going to have a voice at the table.
Exactly. And it's just, it drives me nuts that we
So
can't
frustrating.
look and say, this person has done a good job.
That would involve critical thinking. And what I have come to realize is that it does not matter if you have a Republican or Democrat name letter in front of your name. It does not indicate whether or not you can actually use critical thinking skills.
That's true.
But listen, even
We like to think that we're the party of critical thinking, and I do think a majority overall of us are. But it obviously in this situation is showing that is not the case. And people
Absolutely.
would rather lose a seat to Democrats
then welcome them into the tent.
Well, or try to primary a really good county commissioner who won that seat, try to primary her with a candidate who doesn't have a chance in heck to win.
But
And on that note, I have to say that if Marcy Woodward did not win, we would have Robert Reinroth in there as a Democrat running the county commission.
We would,
exactly.
yeah.
But and
Yep.
if you look at
So-
historically, the two Republicans that made the biggest inroads into traditionally non-Republican groups are who? Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan. What do both of those have in common besides being
Both
presidents?
were Democrats.
Both were liberal Democrats.
Yep.
Who then realized that the party left them behind.
Yep.
So why is it okay for both of them, but we can't accept a moderate Democrat that is willing to, maybe not willing to become a Republican, but willing to become an MPA?
Or willing to have a conversation with us and
And
say, what do
willing to
you
have a
want?
And those conversations are happening, and candidates are willing to do that because everybody is starting to see that the tides are turning. Our own party,
100%.
our own party doesn't understand this part. They
When Cornerstone starts taking Republican candidates, you know we're turning into a purple county.
exactly.
But then the other mentality is like we rant and rave in the Republican Party against socialism and against communism like Mandami, as we should. And like I said, I come from a Cuban household. I've heard a thing or two about the communist and socialist system.
socialist system. That's right.
The biggest aspect of a socialist communist system is one party rule.
Yep.
So how just because we're the right party we deserve it's any
no.
different? No. So why can't we? That's the beauty of our country is that we are a modge-podge of ideas.
Yeah.
And we have people who are conservative, fiscally conservative and liberally and
Socially
liberal. Or you have people who are socially conservative and fiscally liberal. You have different no one's the same.
No one's the same.
No
and
one
they
agrees on
expect us
everything.
all to be exactly the same again because we have
There's people
it's
in
the
our
tribal mentality.
Yeah,
And
there's
it is.
people in our party that is like, if you don't think and act like them, you are the enemy.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
100%.
there's no self-reflection of, hey, wait a minute, I ran a race and I didn't do so well, or I lost to this Democrat. Why did that happen? And it's because it's like you only catered to the Republican base, and our voters want to vote for the best candidate that's going to represent them in office.
Exactly.
And that is not, they're not taking that into consideration whatsoever.
No.
And it's about understanding our voters to earn their vote.
Yeah.
It's not about shoving a Trump
Exactly.
flag or a Trump hat down their throat and telling them, you will think like me, you will do this.
And if that strategy worked of only playing to Republicans, I would be in office right now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I said we had 96% turnout in Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
If I didn't go talk to NPAs and Democrats, and if I didn't have someone who had a sign in their yard that said Democrats for Daniel,
Mm-hmm.
I would not have gotten it. I would have only gotten 42% of the vote because that's what I was. That's
Yeah.
based off of registration.
Yeah.
So
You were able to convert, what was it, 8%, 6% of the vote?
around there, but we
That's
can't.
huge.
If I was to play by that playbook, we wouldn't
This
have
is
gotten
why
anywhere.
we're so good at snatching
and we
defeat
wouldn't-
from the jaws of victory.
And that's why, and Peggy wouldn't have won. And
Nope.
Exactly.
And several of our other Republican representatives that's
I mean,
made inroads
Marcy
to. And
crossed the
yeah.
aisle. She
Oh,
was like, hey,
100%.
Democrat, vote for me.
Yep.
You it's not about party. It's about, and it goes back to what I was saying about Marcy, about being a neighbor that runs. Your neighbor's your neighbor no matter what party they're registered
Yeah,
with.
correct.
You don't get to choose who you live next to. Well,
Yeah.
you do, but you don't.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you don't know.
You can't control what happens
You
around your neighborhood. Mm-mm.
And it's like, how are we just going to keep going into our silos? If we would have stayed in our silos, Trump would not have swept 7 swing states.
That's right.
Trump would not have picked up the Hispanic support that he's picked up and the African American support that he picked up in the last election because he went to places that Republicans don't go. He stood in the window of a McDonald's. He went and drove in a garbage truck.
Garbage truck.
And
I
he
love
spoke
it.
to these people.
Yeah.
Because what blue-collar worker in Pennsylvania didn't look at him in a garbage truck in a hard hat and a
Go.
yellow vest and go, he looks like what I wear to work all day, and he's willing, and he gets up
Here's
there
a
and says,
billionaire from New York that's willing to do this for
who
me.
has a huge estate in Florida and flies back and forth on his own Trump branded plane.
Trump Force One.
And but they looked at him and said, he's the one that will stand up for me because he has broadened the base. Unions endorsed him.
I know. Those cuckoo bananas. What a wild ride
Unions.
2024 was, man. I can't wait for the movies.
So like we can't. How are we?
How are we not able to at least have to take a step back and
How
look?
are we not following Trump's lead?
Oh yeah, but
Well-
they'll wear the Trump hat and go to Mar-a-Lago and go rah rah sis kumbah and do all kinds of performative things.
Sis kumbah. I've never heard that one.
You've never heard that one? It's one of my
I
favorite
like it.
phrases.
You don't
My
watch
kids
the
are
show
gonna-
then, Daniel.
My kids are not going to enjoy you guys. I'm going to blame you. The
yeah.
students are going to be.
Rah rah. That's what they do. We go to Mar-a-Lago. We get to stand up.
Yeah.
We get to do presentations. We get to
To
give
be fair,
awards.
I've never been to Mar-a-Lago. Just to put that out there.
I've been to
I've-
Mar-a-Lago, but I don't go just to be rah rah sis kumbah. I've had
Not
the
because
opportunity
I
to
don't
go,
want
and
to. It's because I'm a teacher and those tickets are a little.
I'm sorry.
If you got a free ticket out there, let me know. But yeah, we can't keep retreating to our silos because it will never work.
No, and we will lose seats that we've gained. Like we will look. I guarantee you.
have-
I've heard through the grapevine. I don't want to. That even in the Democrat world, they like what Marcy has done because she's been a good governor.
course.
So there's not a big rumbling to run against her. They're not building this base to try to run against her.
We will
but
lose
if they try to put some idiot into primary her,
But
I'll
look-
see something different happening, and then we lose.
Forget District 4. We will lose a Democratic seat, which is District 6.
Oh, the Republic. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Sarah Baxter holds a Democratic-leaning seat.
yeah, she does.
So you can love Sarah, you can hate Sarah.
Primarying her is
Kind-
going to give that seat to a Democrat.
Primarying her puts us in jeopardy of losing a seat.
Yeah.
And
It puts us at risk. Yeah.
she's another one that she has done what she has believed is best for her community. And you can't expect every commissioner to vote for the national politics when they're trying to decide where to put a tree. You
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah, it's
Where-
not in the handbook, like you said.
Well, and I think that's the problem is that a lot of our party Republicans want to federalize our local offices.
Every
Yeah.
office.
Well, they don't. Again,
But
it goes
you
back
know,
to
to
them
be fair,
really
it's not just us, it's the Democrats too.
Well,
yeah,
that's what I'm
that's
saying.
true.
But we have this. We think that Republicans are better informed and understand the system better and understand our level of government. Most Republicans don't understand how our government works, what a representative government is. I didn't until 2020. I thought I did. I thought I was
Most
I thought I
people-
was politically savvy.
Most people are sick and tired of hearing about politics.
Exactly.
When Trump disappears, it's going to be an interesting
It's
readjustment
gonna.
time.
I know. It is
Because
gonna be
people
interesting.
are so
It's like a sport.
whiplashed with hearing Trump every
Yeah.
day on TV.
There's no
for
more.
the
There's going to
last
be no more boogeyman.
10 years. Exactly. So it's like, where do we go then? Then we go back. Do we go back down to
we go to-
20% turnout? Do we go back down to no one knowing who the vice president of the United States is? Because love him or hate him, these late night shows, I think it was Kimmel, used to send someone out onto the
Yeah.
streets and ask them, who's the vice president? And they're
Nobody
like,
knew.
Oh,
They wouldn't
George
know.
Bush.
Yeah,
What?
they wouldn't know.
And I'll bet
George
you anything they were thinking of the wrong George Bush. And that's the problem.
They didn't know. They didn't know there's two George
They
Bushes.
didn't know there was
just
two,
knew there was one.
and they didn't know exactly. Even though one of them was vice president, the other they probably thought the other one. They thought good old W was vice president,
W.
and that's not
W.
W. You
W.
can't. But
okay.
that we just can't keep going into that direction, and we.
Yeah.
It is
but
going to be very
happens.
interesting what the landscape is going to be after
It is,
2028.
and it happens to us. It happened after Reagan, where we got into our silos. You had Pat Buchanan come in to try to
Yeah.
primary HW, and we grew into those silos. And then the rise of Newt Gingrich and the Contract of America, that's where it all went, and we can't keep doing that. We can't keep going back into our silos, letting the Democrats regain
And then
power.
we do.
and
Then we have our
reset.
reaction. We react. We're not
being
well,
proactive.
this is
We're being reactive.
And that's a problem. That's a problem. Like with Republicans, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and they're like, and they reminded me yet again that Republicans don't know what to do when we get power. The Democrats wield power like a sword, and the Republicans are like,
What do
what do I do with this?
Hey, someone gave me a sword and I don't have a shield. What do I do? Oh, there's a dragon. Run!
Right. No, 1,000%. And so we lose the power because people get fed up with the Republican, and then it swings the other way, and then the Democrats come in and they take the sword, and everyone's like, oh, we don't want to be beat with the swords. We're going to vote Republican, and the
And then
Republicans
we-
go, oh
And
no.
we finally send someone that knows how to use the sword, and we're like, wait! They used to be a Democrat! They're the only ones that knew how to use it! Get him out of there! What? Come on! How is this mentality getting us anywhere?
It's not.
And we can't. We've had some successes at the national and the state level, but we have to refocus on the local because
We got to get
Yeah.
it back.
if we lose these two, and people
And
can
we
tell
quietly made such inroads in 2022 and
It was
2024.
amazing.
Yeah. It
And
was great.
But now we've brought attention to those seats, and now people are looking at it like, oh, I'll guarantee you, one of these people runs in District 89. Look at how close he got. I can go do it.
Oh yeah.
If you're going to knock on every door if you find. But that's not what these people do. They show up at the
No.
Second Amendment Club. They show up at the REC
They stay in
meetings.
the silo of the Republicans. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and that's why when we had the opportunity to have Senator Pizzo on, we were like, let's do it. Let's hear what he has to
Yeah.
say. Am I going to agree with him on everything? Absolutely not.
You
Does it mean
don't
I'd ever
have
vote for him? Probably not. But I would like to hear what he has to say.
Name me someone that you've agreed with 100% of the time.
Me, myself, and I.
My wife.
Even then. Good one. That was a good answer.
Stu wins tonight.
There we
That's it.
go,
Shut it down.
Stu.
We go. Good job, Stu.
Okay,
I
we're
teed
done.
him up.
See you guys later.
All right, get the beep. There we go. But that's what we keep thinking is like we need to agree. How many Republicans are pissed at Trump because of Epstein?
I don't care.
No one cares. Some people don't care, and some
I
people
want my
do.
groceries to be cheaper.
Exactly. But that's the thing. These are the same people that are rah rah rah. What was it?
Rah, rah, sis, kumbah.
That one. These are the same people that are
You're
out
going
there.
to use it. You have to use it right.
I know. You're gonna have to text me
But
later.
they
'cause
were
I'm-
okay with supporting a candidate that was in charge of corrections when he was a prisoner here in
Yeah.
Palm Beach County
But
and allowed 3,
Even with that,
I'm
it's
just
like
saying, the
if you're
hypocrisy
gonna,
is amazing.
it's those same people that are screaming and yelling, saying we have to follow Trump on every little thing. We need to follow the Republicans. We need to get MAGA Republicans everywhere. And now what are they doing with themselves now that they're mad at Trump?
I don't know.
What are they?
Well, it was like what
sitting in
happened
a
over,
corner,
you
or
know.
what are they? Someone send them a therapist. because don't
I
know
think
how
they might need a therapist because it's like what happened during the conflict when we, carpet bombed the Iranis into, like 20 years ago, and they're all losing their minds. I didn't vote for this. Dude,
Yes, you did.
The guy, and I know we're getting into national politics a little bit,
we'll
but
come back. We'll reel it back in.
we'll reel it back in. But the guy's talked for years about how Iran cannot get a nuclear weapon, and now
Everyone has.
I mean, yes, and
Even those same people saying Iran couldn't have a nuclear weapon.
oh, but God forbid we do something about it. God forbid we be the big, mean superpower that we are. Like,
God forbid we use the sword.
God forbid we use the freaking sword.
And the dragon was flaming up at his nose. But no. Leave the dragon alone. He's a nice guy.
Leave the lion alone. No, they took it down, and it was glorious to watch. And it's just
But
so
anyways.
the same people, and so you have these people coming, bringing it, but reeling it back to the local level, where they've created their whole identity to be around Trump, and
they've created this identity of being against anything.
yeah.
Anything.
Anything.
It doesn't matter if it's Trump or not. Their identity is you're wrong.
Yeah.
I'm right. We need to get you out of office.
That's why people call MAGA a cult.
Yes.
It's
But
kind of culty behavior when you
it
do
is,
that. I'm just
and-
saying. I don't think it's a cult as a concept, but I think people have turned it into a cult. They've turned it into a religion.
And that's the problem is that then you have people that come down here in primary, Sarah Baxter and Marcy Woodward, for what? To lose the
To prove
seats
a
to
point.
Democrats.
To try
Because
to prove a point.
Marcy has a candidate chomping at the bits to take her on in the general.
yeah.
Yep.
why would we make it harder for her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. There is someone running against her.
Yeah.
That's what I said. I
And
knew
if you-
that earlier, but
if you-
I'm interested. I'm
And
really
if you
curious
don't
about him.
support, and if you look at the fundraising numbers, he's outraised her a ton.
She hasn't started yet.
But
I
no,
don't
she
think.
hasn't. But why get in the way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't like her, okay, stay home then. Okay, I
Yeah.
get it.
Just wait.
Well, the thing of it is the people who say they don't like her don't even live in her district and can't
No,
vote for her.
but that's the
So
That's
they're
the
going to take her
problem.
away from me.
Exactly.
She's mine, and give me some Democrat who I don't want to
Exactly.
support or I don't want in there.
Exactly.
And then we
Exactly.
get
That's the other thing too. People don't understand. Just focus on your own district, on your
Mm-hmm.
city, and if you run for something and you lose, stay there and try to make it better.
And this
Don't
is where-
come here
this
and
is where
ruin
we-
my space.
This is where we fail as a local party, because it was like, this is why our regions were set up, right? And this is the importance of the regions throughout the county, is to keep the focus on your local area, on what's
Yeah.
important to you. So
Yeah.
that's the
your-
point of an REC member, to get
so-
your precinct going.
Exactly. So it's like your like-minded neighbors get together and decide what you want as far as leadership, and you do the grassroots efforts to get involved to be able to make it happen. That's what we did in South County. That's what they did in North County. And now we're going to have an opportunity to do that in Central
Sassy,
County.
I just saw your comment, and yes, you're right. Sorry.
What'd she say?
She asked who the REC board member ran in another state.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So we know who that is.
we
Yes.
know who that is.
But we have to get out of our own
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
We
Absolutely.
are going to lose the seats if we put
The
up
ones that we clawed our way into getting. I mean,
Literally.
we worked our butts off
And
for
the
those
both
seats.
of them.
And the thing of it is it's like, it's because we want to win. It's not because we support Democrats. I want to be very, very clear about
Yes.
that. We do not support Democrats. We do not support what they believe in. But we need to be willing to listen to what they have to say so that we can be better armed in making sure that we get the results that we're looking for.
We like to
My-
win. We got a taste of winning in 22. I
Yeah.
don't know why everyone wants to just be like, "Oh, let's go back to eating like broccoli when we
because
had ice
everybody
cream."
thinks they can win. And
Oh my gosh,
question
it's
is,
so true.
my question is, if you're so worried about the Republicans on the county commission and the way they vote, and they're still voting more liberal, where were they when they let Maria Moreno walk back into her seat last year?
Yeah.
Yep.
Where were they?
There was nobody.
Because she
She got
is the least
unopposed.
Republican of our three Republicans
She,
on the board.
absolutely. She was the
Yes.
only one still sitting up there during the COVID fiasco. She
Yep.
was the Republican who sat up there with all of the Democrats and advocated for everyone to
Yep.
get their shot and didn't do a single thing to reduce mask. She got elected while mask mandates were still in effect in Palm Beach County.
that's my
and she did nothing. She had lifted not one finger publicly to try to remove those.
And that's the
So
question.
where is
were
everybody?
You? Where were
Oh
you?
no, they
in
all supported the
24?
the Republican candidate for sheriff who was all about mask mandates in the prisons and all about these things.
But that's my thing. Is what get the beep.
No, I'm not cursing. I'm just ranting. And I do apologize. I did know that Marcy had a Democrat opponent. I actually know who he is. Boca's a small town. So yeah,
But
I know,
that's
I know
my
who he is,
question.
and I
Is
totally
where-
blanked it.
where
for
were
being
you?
out of the seat for a couple weeks.
Exactly.
Where were you?
Where were you?
Where were you?
Why
They
are you
just-
waking up now when that is Maria Moreno's seat is the Republican seat in this county?
Yeah.
Yep.
If you want to primary someone, that's the safest one
Yeah,
to do it.
they could have easily found someone to
Why
try to primary her and
someone
still
who's
hold
in
the
a
seat.
D+6 and someone who's an R+3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Just because there's a little R next to the district that you think that no matter what Republican we throw out there is going to win?
Nope.
Yeah.
No.
If I'm not going to mention any names until it's in the books, but if the
I
person,
literally almost just said it.
I
so
know,
go ahead.
but if the person who we think might actually file to primary her files, we will lose that seat because he
Look
is not
at
electable.
his record.
Look
Yep.
at his record. Look at who he is. Talk
Look
to
at his
him.
financial reports.
hmm
So that's and we
We will lose the seat.
we have to get out of our own way.
Yeah.
We are so close. If we can maintain the seats we have,
Yes.
District 5 is a seat we can take.
Which one's
Maria
district?
Sachs.
Oh,
She
yeah.
terms out
Yeah.
in the next
Yeah.
cycle.
That's a winnable district.
But that's the other thing.
with the
we don't-
right candidate.
We don't
gotta be a
think
right
past the current election
Right. No.
cycle. And that's that's a problem
Yeah,
too.
and that's where exactly because again the same thing with the primaries. Like the primary, and then this is also why we have candidates who run once and lose and then disappear.
Good candidates.
Good candidates.
Well,
Yeah.
or bad candidates. But also, this is why Republican candidates want nothing to do with the Republican Party. Why would either one of those two people, either one of the county commissioners, show that want to come to any Republican
What
event
elected
ever?
official that is a Republican shows up to the REC meetings?
Right? Right?
None anymore. They would have got run out with pitchforks.
I know of one.
One.
I know of one that actually shows up every once in a while, and he texts me all the time. This is crazy.
Who is it? You can
it
tell me
is
later.
from North County. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy. It's definitely crazy.
So if they're not even coming, because we run every one of
Because
them
we
out.
run them out.
We censured Caruso.
Mm-hmm.
We've passed a resolution to not allow to basically condemn Baxter, Woodward, and Roth. What are we doing? Roth is a strong candidate. He knows what he's doing. He's been around the block for a while.
He knows what he's doing. Well, the key word is for a while.
Fair point, but right now he's what we've got. And
just saying.
Rick is a great guy.
He is a great guy.
Yes, he is a
love
great
him.
guy.
And I think he
Yes.
did a good job for his
100%.
district. He
He did
brought back a lot of
fantastic.
money.
He's a
He was
fighter
very,
for
he's
he's
a
a
fighter
fighter.
for
He
his
is a
people,
fighter.
and he will fight for that
Oh,
district.
He's
He's
a
a
fighter for
spitfire.
he's a fighter for the whole county,
Yes, he is.
actually. And especially when it comes to our agriculture
Oh,
and
yeah.
things like that. Like, he is a fighter, and
Like,
we,
conserve. What is it? Save Boca.
Yeah.
He'll be all for that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because that's what he is. He's a farmer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a farmer.
He's a farmer in this county that has spent his entire life here
Yeah.
and working on a farm and getting things done.
we do need to wrap up here for a minute, but I do want to make sure that we touch on School Board 4 that ends up being a tilt 0 this next cycle.
Yeah.
So it's
Ooh.
definitely
Well, that's as of
winnable.
right now. Who knows
Well,
by the
yeah,
time we
it
get
could
there.
it could be an R plus here
Uh-huh.
shortly.
Well, it is.
That's
so
Erica
it's an R
Whitfield,
plus.
right? Who's not running
It is
again?
an R plus 0, no? Yeah, that is Erica Whitfield.
Okay.
Oh,
so I
you're
know.
right. It is an R plus 0.
Yeah.
Where does District 4 encompass?
It is the eastern part. I think I want to say it like spans like almost the entire
Handy
county.
dandy notebook.
Yeah, I want to say it spans like the entire county. I think it's like all the way up north. That's
That's
county
county
Oh, that's
commission.
county commission.
I think it's the next
Next
one.
one.
There we
You
go.
should know you put this together.
I know. Yeah, so it spans.
Oh, it's
All
that
the
one
way
with
up.
the weird like
Yep,
finger.
that over because they have the little connector
The
for District
gerrymandering.
7 that goes down to Delray and is Riviera Beach. So it goes from West Palm all the way down
That's
to
a
to
big
Delray.
district.
Yeah. So it's definitely a
But it
pickup
also
for us if you
shows
can.
it also shows based on registration that how we are condensing into that central area. We are coming in. We're coming strong.
But-
And if Republicans can get out of the way, we have an opportunity to win, but we have to be strategic
But
about
here's,
it.
Pick a
here's
good
the
candidate.
thing.
Pick good
we
candidates.
Need, that's exactly where I was going to go. Because we need a candidate that is not doing it for a political footstep.
Yeah.
Correct.
Who's not saying, "Oh, I'm just getting out of a seat and I'm going to go run for something." We can't. Our school board can't be like that.
Yeah.
We can't. That is probably one of the most important elected spots because our kids are the most important part of this.
And it's our
Because
biggest taxing.
that's a
It's our
spe-
it's
And
our
I,
biggest
and I
taxing
think
district.
that's how Gloria Branch won for
Yeah.
for school board is because of that right there. She's not talking
No.
about higher offices or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Her father was
Our
the
superintendent.
superintendent forever, and so she saw
school board
what,
is her passion.
so she
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like she saw what was happening, and she's like, I can do something
And
to
listen,
fix it.
To me, it bothers me that we only have one teacher on that board, and she's retiring as Marsha.
That's Marsha Andrews.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's the only teacher on that board. of
Really?
7.
Yeah.
I thought Gloria Branch was a teacher.
She was a substitute
She's a
teacher,
substitute teacher.
but she wasn't a teacher. And that's not to say that you can't do a good job on the board if you're
Right.
not a teacher. But
Right.
It helps.
not having a teacher voice
that
up
perspective.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very different thing when you haven't been in the classroom every day and
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
teacher tired.
Yeah.
When
That's
you
true.
feel teacher tired, you come to me and you tell me what policies we're going to impose. But that's we can't. When especially with school board, I've always said it that we have to have the best candidates run for that because. And I used to always say when I was running for a state house, I believe in school choice, but our public schools are a choice.
Yes.
They should
And
be.
a
It's an
lot of-
option of a choice.
They
and
should be
and
a
a-
good choice.
And exactly, and a lot of
They should
most
be
of
the
our
best
kids
choice.
are there, so we have to bring it up.
I don't know about the best choice. Only because we pay. Look, only because we pay so much money for them should they
Right.
be the best choice.
They
That's
should be
what
the
I'm
best
saying.
choice. That they are where the vast majority of our kids are, and we have to go meet them where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I support the choice. But
I'm very curious because I know we got to wrap it up because I know like in Broward County there's 8 public schools closing in Broward County because they don't have the students.
yeah, well, Broward County's Broward County.
Right. We know Broward's going to Broward.
But we also lost for the first time, probably over a decade. We lost enrollment after the vouchers came in. We didn't lose a huge ton of enrollment, but we lost enrollment.
It's going to come more and more.
And it is. And that's the thing. But that's what those vouchers create, that competition, to make sure that we have good charter schools, good private schools, good public schools, and that's what they're chasing.
Yeah. Let's also not forget the impact that development has on school zoning.
Of course.
Because I just found this out recently that once a building near my house is built, which is very likely to happen because they're using Live Local, the density is going to shift our school district, and I'm going to go from being in one of the most desirable schools in the county, which makes my property value higher, to being in one of the lesser desired schools in the county, which is going to drop my property value. So even though I don't send my kids to the public school, it affects my property value, it affects my neighborhood, it affects my community. Development affects that.
But the other issue that we're going to face is we're going to have a huge influx of people coming into this county in the next decade.
Yeah, well, we've got billboards in New York.
Exactly. But if we're not being proactive at the school board of building those schools and having them ready, and everyone knows the moment the county or any entity says we're looking at this property, that price skyrockets, right? So that affects us. So if we're not ahead of the ball in developing these schools and having them in the pipeline before the masses get here, we're going to have to pass another bond and another bond and another bond and another bond because they're on the ballot every time we go to vote. There's a school board bond on the ballot.
And they are still the high. I mean, what is the budget? $6 billion? $7 billion?
5.6, I want to say.
Oh, I think
the
it broke
budget,
6 this year.
The budget in the last 10 years has gone from 1.2 to 5.6. And the reading scores haven't changed.
Isn't that interesting?
Just
I have
barely.
a whole thing. I mean, that has a lot to do with COVID, and that was massive.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
it was terrible what they did to the children in the third grade. Third grade. Well, she's going into fourth this year. That's the grade that they really third and fourth and fifth grade are the ones that are the most affected ever with all of that.
So Daniel, any shout outs? Anything you want us to know?
No, we're having a good time.
This is good. Are you on social media? Can people follow you to hear all of your hot takes on stuff?
I think my Instagram is still vote Daniel Zapata from my account.
Are you on X?
So I am not. Listen, if I go on X, I won't have a life. I've got papers to grade. I've got lesson plans to do. I won't have a life.
Fair. It's totally fair.
Yeah. So.
And Daniel and I are on the candidate recruitment committee for the REC together. So.
Yeah, I
dabble
here and there.
Dabble.
I answer.
I'm not on any REC committees. I'm on other committees.
I'm barely a member of the REC.
I eke my way in. Let's be real.
All right, Josie, anything you need to shout out? Anything you want anybody to know?
You can check out saveboca.org. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I don't think so. Everyone,
awesome.
Hang in there. We'll see you. Our next episode is August 21st, right?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
All of a sudden, I had a blank moment.
Fake news.
Yeah, right? It's very possible.
7th, 14th,
21. Yeah. I was right. August 21st.
That's why he's here.
So that's why we have him. That's why we pay him the big bucks.
That's right.
Of zero, yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. If you would like to sponsor the show, I totally forgot that in the opening. I'll say that, and then I'll let you close it out. If you'd like to sponsor, we have new sponsorship packages available on our website. We are going to be launching a very special candidate sponsorship package. So if you'd like to get your name out there as a candidate, please stay tuned for that. If you would like to drop us a little bit of money to keep our lights on, you can do that through a Rumble Rant or Super Chat, which now we're at the end of, so you can't do, but you can do it next time. Or you can donate through our website, which Jessica's going to give you.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. I do want to give a shout out to the Palm Beach Federated Republican Women. We are doing a huge event on August 29th, so mark your calendars. It is going to be the Theater at the Norton. We are doing a line in the sand with James O'Keefe. He's going to be our special guest. We're going to have a cocktail hour and meet and greet. Those tickets should be released soon, so check us out on Facebook and Instagram at RPFRW for ticket information. Can't wait to see you at that event. It's going to be huge, and it's going to be a huge kickoff for our Republican Club in Palm Beach. So make sure that you follow us on Instagram. We are We The Locals FL. We are We The Locals FL on X and We The Locals on Facebook. Our website is WeTheLocalsPodcast.com. You can email us questions, concerns, anything you want to know about sponsorship. You can email us at WeTheLocalsFL@gmail.com. Have a great night, everybody, and stay local. Happy 50th episode.
Yay! Bye.